is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by HialeahParkCasino.com. Enjoy simulcast racing, dining, a magnificent poker room, and a casino with the most popular machines on the market. OKCoin.com. Download the app on iOS, Google Play, or Windows. OKCoin.com with over 50 different coins and incredible staking rewards. Pallet Rack City. There's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. OK Coin is one of the largest fiat to crypto trading platforms in the world. Founded in 2013, OK Coin offers advanced features for crypto beginners and high-volume traders alike, enabling users in 184 countries worldwide. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Now we're ready to go. Yes, sir. Let's see. Here we go. All right. There we go. All righty. How y'all doing out there? Let me see. Am I hearing myself? I got to make sure I'm hearing myself. There we go. Okay. I just want to make sure everything's kosher and you guys can hear me. How are you all doing out there? Hope you all are well. I don't know if the lighting's that good here right now, but it is what it is. What am I going to do? Anyway, welcome aboard. Yes, we're still in Las Vegas. As you can tell, I'm still in my Airbnb. Sean is down in South Florida. He should be joining us any minute now because he was traveling back. Hope you all are well out there. And we're going to have some fun today. We got a bunch of guests. Ian Rappaport's going to join us at 10:10. We're going to have Cameron Wolf at 10:30. Anthony Chang at 11, Omar Kelly at 12:15, and George Richards at 1:15. So we'll get you ready for the Panthers tonight. We'll talk about the Heat win last night with Anthony Chang. We'll talk about everything going on in the world of football. Ian normally is on Wednesdays, but he's traveling. And the big shot is headed over to the Kentucky Derby. So we'll talk to the big shot at 10:10 in a couple minutes, and we'll have some fun with Ian here at 10:10. So all well and good. So hope you all are doing well. I see you all are already locked in. Don't forget to smash the like button as you're listening to the podcast or watching it, wherever you're watching it. Heat last night, they got it done as expected, right? I mean, you've got to win both of these games without Embiid, right? And yesterday we were having some fun on Bam. And I said, well, probably the under in points. And Bam took off last night and had 24 points. And it's nice to see that. Not enough, but it's nice. It's a nice start, Bam. Okay? We need to see a lot more. And if Embiid does come back, you need to do that when Embiid is there. Okay? That Bam that I saw last night. Now, listen, I don't want it to sound like a broken freaking record because that's what it's always been with Bam. he's proven over and over again that he's not that guy you saw last night. So, he's going to go back to being his passive self on offense and do his thing on defense. And I know that that's what he means most to this team. But the amount of money you're paying him, you want him to be that guy yesterday. What I saw from Tyler, I'm not surprised. I'm not, because Tyler wasn't as active. That didn't bother me. I know eventually he's going to go off. His time will come. And last night, 25 points and 7 assists by the kid, and he was phenomenal last night. Bam, with Tyler, I'm not worried about. And listen, with Bam, I'm really not worried because he's such a rock on the defensive side of the court that, the rest doesn't really matter. It's a bonus, whatever you get from him almost offensively. But we all talk about this like we want him to cross that threshold. And maybe that's just not him. That's not who he is. Maybe that's never going to be him. But last night you got it. At least last night you got the offensive Bam last night, and that was cool to get. That was fun. I don't know if we can do it more often. I doubt it because we've had this conversation 100 times, and it never materializes to him becoming all of a sudden a new man on offense. But it was nice to see last night. They took care of business. It's nice to know that you never really have to fear the beard, right? Because that's something there is no fear of the beard. Zero. Nothing. Nada. He's a choke artist. He's been a choke artist since he was a young player, and the Miami Heat took out the Oklahoma City Thunder back in the day. Same guy. Nothing has changed about James Harden. Okay? Now, the difference is he's a lesser player now. He's worn down. All the minutes, all the ball hogging, all the strip clubs, the lack of conditioning, all of those things have eventually caught up to James Harden. And when you're really, and I know there are games where he picks up some steals and things like that, but you're a lazy player on defense. You've been a lazy player on defense your entire career. It's beautiful to watch. The guy shot 5 of 13 in 35 minutes, 2 of 7 from three-point range, 16 points, 4 shots in the second half because he has no balls whatsoever. And that's the beauty about James Harden. And that's what, for me, in my eyes, that's what he'll always be known for. The guy that can score a lot of points when you don't need it. But, man, when you need him in the clutch, don't count on James Harden. That guy's going to get lost. And sure enough, now is worse. Now he's older. Now he's got more mileage on him. Now he's a different player than he was even a couple of years ago. He doesn't have the same burst anymore. And then now you're facing the Heat defense. Good luck. But I will say this. It's there are certain people that I kind of root against. He's one of them. And why? Because he's a malcontent. I can't stand people that have no accountability. And James Harden has never had accountability. By the way, so is LeBron James. Same thing. No accountability whatsoever. Zero. All he does is he wants to move around like a gypsy. If this situation doesn't fit him, I got to go to the other one. I got to go to the other one. Same thing as James Harden. The only thing James Harden is searching for is the next place that he's allowed to play however the hell he wants to play. That's all. And LeBron James is trying to just find the next place. He doesn't care what he leaves in his wake, what he does, nothing. So guys like this, I root against. I happily enjoy their failures, to be quite honest. And James Harden, who is a selfish player, a self-centered player, And a guy that really has never been a team player, I'm enjoying watching him choke like an effing dog, because that's what he will be known for the entire remainder of his life. James Harden, oh yeah, he can score a lot of points, but he's an effing choker. And I've seen those kind of guys in years past, and this is nothing new with guys like this. So, too bad, so sad, but it is nice to see them lead 1-0. Wednesday will be game 2 on TNT at 7:30 as the Heat take care of the Sixers, 106-92. By the way, we got our liquor split matchup of the night last night, because we told you to take the Heat -8, and that ended up working out for us, which is a beautiful thing. All right, I like that. Anyway, so we've got that going on tonight. Panthers are starting their playoff run now against the Capitals. This is the moment that we've all been waiting for a while now, right? Because the Panthers have been the best team in the league most of the season. They've been the best team in the conference the entire year. You know that this is their moment now. This is what's going to define who they are. You know, we talked about James Harden, right? And the Panthers have a history of choking in the playoffs. The only time that they did not choke was the one time in '96 when they made it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. But whatever version you've seen of the Panthers after that has been a version that is mediocre to maybe average at one point. They barely get in the playoffs, and they get spanked and sent home. That can't happen anymore, right? This is one hell of a team. This is the moment we've been waiting for. They haven't won a playoff series in decades, so now's the time. Now's the time to erase all of those memories. And you start tonight with the Capitals, and you've got to go out there and take care of business, because you are the best team in the league. Not just the conference, the league. That's what you proved this year. So this is the fun part now. And I think guys like Barkov and Huberdeau, this is how they make their legacy. They don't want to be known as the guys that, yeah, hell of a player and all that. They don't want to be known as James Harden. Okay? To kind of bring it full circle, right? Huberdeau and Barkov do not want to be known as James Harden. They want to be known as guys that can lead their teams to victory. Starts tonight. You got to take care of the Capitals, man. You got to go in there, and you got home ice all the way to the Stanley Cup, all the way through the Stanley Cup. And home ice is not nearly as important in hockey as it is in football, as it is in basketball. In hockey, you could easily lose home ice. It happens often. So it'll be interesting to see. Bob will get his opportunity. Will he be sharp like he needs to be, is the question. We'll find out. We'll find out. Don't forget, folks, to smash the hell out of the like button while you're watching, while you're listening, at any time, day or night. We always appreciate it. We are awaiting Ian Rappaport, by the way. Ian Rappaport will be joining us here at 7:10. So we'll have a little fun with Ian. And we'll talk a little NFL action with Ian Rappaport. NorCal says, good morning, Big O Show and listeners. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Tuned in from Martinez, California. Puff, puff, can't give. Yeah, no, we still got that whole pandemic going on. It's still spreading around. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad that I'm vaccinated and double boosted. Just for the hell of it. I still could catch it, but, you know, who knows? I probably already had it. Who knows? I've never even taken the antibodies test, but maybe I'm one of the lucky ones. Maybe not. You just never know. But who knows? It's crazy stuff. All right, let's get into it. Ian Rappaport is ready to talk a little NFL football right here on the Big O Radio Show.
Football fans, it's time to look around the NFL. It's the Sloman's Home Security NFL Insider Zone with NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. In the NFL, you need a great offensive line for protection. In life, call 1-800-ALARM-ME to protect your home with the best in the business. Sloman's has been serving customers for nearly 100 years. No one protects your family like Sloman's Home Security. Now, let's find out the latest in the NFL with one of the best reporters in the business, Ian Rappaport.
Wait a minute. There we go. There he is.
Yeah.
How you doing? You doing good?
I'm good, man. How are you? You hear me okay?
I hear you good. You hear me fine?
I do. I'm on my wife's AirPods because I lost mine. So this is a work in progress, but we're making it happen.
Okay. All right. First of all, tell me a little bit about what's going on with Baker, because how in the hell do they move Baker? The suspension maybe with of course, with what's it
Deshaun
called?
Watson, right?
Yeah, with Watson. But this is not a guy that's handled these kind of situations. Is he going to compartmentalize to understand, well, this is my last chance to kind of prove my worth, or is he going to be, an a-hole about the whole thing? So how does he handle this whole thing? Because I know it's not easy for him.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's not easy. None of this is easy. And, I think for Baker Mayfield, it's pretty clear that this is not what he intended. This is not what he thought his future was going to be. But, this is reality. And I know he's obviously upset about, the Browns trading for Deshaun. They told him that they would explore quarterback options. But I think when the Browns were out, everyone thought that it was going to be Baker, and it was going to be Baker. So I think he's frustrated with the about face. Unfortunately, that is, sometimes reality in the NFL, and he wants to be gone. The problem is, as of right now, the only chance he has, barring an injury, I mean, the Browns could wait for an injury for training camp, but barring an injury, his only chance to start on a football team might be for his own team. So I know its relationship is not good. I know it's not in a good place. I know they got to fix it, but I really do wonder, is it better for him to stay in Cleveland, start 4 games, 6 games, 8 games, we have no idea, and then kind of remake his career like that?
I wonder how he's going to handle the fans, the media reaction, all that kind of crazy stuff, the national reaction to all of that stuff. I mean, do the commercials continue? More importantly, Ian, do the commercials continue? I
mean, I would say, of all the Baker Mayfield things, that commercial blitz probably had as much to do with the public souring on him as anything, right? Because even before he kind of was like a superstar, even before he had really made it, he had endless commercials, and it was on all of our channels. It was on ESPN, it was on NFL Network, it was everywhere sports were. So sports fans saw Baker Mayfield so much. And I think at some point people had Baker fatigue, and that, contributed to the public going like, ugh, like enough of this guy. I would say though, we all, media, public, seem to have forgotten how good he was. Like 2 years ago, he led one of the worst franchises in the NFL to the playoffs. That is an important thing. I know it feels like ancient history, but that is an important thing. And I really do think Baker has a bright future. I don't know where it's going to be.
It's funny because we get into these discussions, right? And while I sit here in South Florida, well, I'm in Vegas now, but defending Tua all the time because I'm so pissed at the disaster that was that coaching staff and the offensive line, and you can't measure the kid, and I got to fight with people about this crap. And all I ask for, and all I tell everybody is, give Tua what the Saints have given Taysom Hill and Winston, or give what Kirk Cousins has in Minnesota, or what Matthew Stafford has. with the Rams. That's all I'm asking for Tua. Give him a line, give him a running game, and give him an offensive mind. And let me see what he can do after that. He's got that now, that hopefully that line and everything will be built. But that's what Baker had. Baker had the best running game in the NFL, dude. He had good weapons.
Didn't have a great receiving core. I think Odell, Odell's history has sort of been rewritten. That was not a good situation in Cleveland.
Right.
His father was posting social media videos destroying Baker. It was not good.
No.
And they were supposed to be friends. He had great running backs, great offensive line, not great receivers. But you're right. I mean, he had overall a pretty good situation. And that's sort of my problem. That speaks to what you're talking about, though, is like they still have that. So if they need a starter, wouldn't you rather it be Baker than Jacoby Brissett? Doesn't that make more sense?
Trust me, I know. I got a dosage of brisket here down here for a little bit, and it's not a good one. So it's just an odd situation. All right. So after all the stuff that went on with DK Metcalf, looks like everything's going to get worked out because he comes out and says eventually we'll get something done with Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, I never got the sense that DK Metcalf wanted to go anywhere, right? And I think for Deebo Samuel does. AJ Brown was more of, I think it was more like, I need to be paid what I'm worth. Okay, like, are you sure the Titans are not going to do it? Really, really, they're not going to do it? Okay, fine, I'll get traded somewhere to get the money I deserve. I think that worked out well for him, no doubt about it, but it was probably didn't want to go until it was time to go. DK Metcalf, to me, has certainly wanted to stay, wanted to finish it out in Seattle, wanted to get paid there. My sense, just like him, is that it will probably get done eventually. I just don't know when that's going to be.
Can I play a little devil's advocate here? Maybe because I'm a little cynical. There's a part of me that says the Titans also said, we're only riding this quarterback for one more year, and then we've got to let him go. So we got to find a new one now, and it may be a young guy. Why the hell are we going to pay A.J. Brown for the next 4 years when we might end up developing a quarterback over the next 2 to 3 years? That doesn't make any sense. Let's let him go, draft a new guy, and then eventually that new guy will be developing with that new quarterback that's coming after Tannehill is released in 2022.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that devil's advocate, but I would say if you're going to develop a new quarterback, look, maybe it's Malik Willis. We have no idea. Right, I think that was one of the more fascinating draft picks was the Titans saying, you know what, third rounder for Malik Willis. Not only are we going to do it, we're going to trade up to do it. So maybe he becomes the guy. But I would say if you're going to develop a young quarterback, you want to give him as many weapons as humanly possible. So to me, you probably want A.J. Brown. But, what you talked about is an issue, like a real issue.
Well, but let me follow up with this.
Go ahead.
Any shot that this is Baltimore part 2? They look at Malik and going, well, the guy we got doesn't get us over the top. We have a running offense. We've got the monster back there. I don't even know if they brought Foreman back. I'm not exactly sure, but
no, he went
they didn't. Okay, so you only have one of the monsters left.
Right.
So all of a sudden, you start getting Malik into a type of Lamar Jackson offense with Derrick Henry and that line going downhill. I don't know. Maybe that's what Tennessee is thinking, going, yeah, the traditional way isn't working. Why don't we try the Baltimore way?
Maybe. We don't know, but I wondered that too. And I think, for Tennessee and Ryan Tannehill, I think he has been great for them. Playoff performance was not good, obviously. And you sort of wonder, where is this going to go? And they drafted a guy who some people thought was a first rounder, not all, but some people. And so Malik Willis doesn't have to play this year. I don't think there's going to be a lot of pressure to play him. They're going to be a good team. So then it's like maybe he becomes a first round prospect and awesome. Maybe he just becomes the backup. I would say either way, it's a good draft pick for the Titans because you have an incredible lottery ticket. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. If Malik Willis is the first rounder that everybody thought, who just happened to go in the third round, life becomes very easy for the Titans. Move on from Tannehill probably next year or maybe the year after. and go, all right, we're good for the next 10 years.
Dude, third round is where you take a quarterback project. So I have no problem with a guy that has first round ability. He may not be a first rounder in a quarterback sense, but in ability sense, that's the part you can't teach. So now you try to, polish that coal into a diamond. All right, so walk us through this whole Deebo thing. Does he want to play the role or does he not want to play the role? We hear all kinds of stuff with all of it, because the part that's kind of screwed up is I wouldn't trade for him if he doesn't want to play his role, because I don't know who you are if you want to play traditional wide receiver. So how the hell am I going to give up all these picks and give you that fat, signing bonus, and then all of a sudden you're going to play a role that I don't have any film on you doing that? So,
well, I mean,
what's real, what's Memorex?
He was successful last year as a receiver. He just wasn't as successful. I would say as a receiver, just a receiver, he had 1,000 yards last year, was very good. As a wide back, as they called him in the Pro Bowl, he was one of the best players in football.
Right.
It's sort of like he's like either 90%, which is awesome, or 100%, which is amazing. There definitely are some questions about that, and that might be why the offers that came in for him weren't quite what the 49ers had hoped or wanted or would have accepted, because teams were like, all right, like, we will trade for you as a receiver only, but if you're not going to play that wide back spot that made you one of the best in the game, your value goes down a little bit. And that's okay if he's not going to get 15 carries a game. If he doesn't want to, that's okay, but it probably changes some things as far as just what his overall value is.
All right. I don't know if you and I spoke about this, but I keep trying to tell the Dolphin Nation this. They're not going to get Deebo Samuel at this point. It makes no sense for them. But here's what I keep telling everybody, and the Eric Uzukama kid that they just drafted in the second round adds to it. Chase, Mostert, Waddle, Tyreek, Cedric, Ian, the fullback, I'm forgetting his name, Ingold.
Right.
All of these guys are going to play the Deebo role. That's how. When I watch Mike put together this offense, he's putting together all these pieces, and some of them will do the Deebo things. You won't have Tyreek and Waddle do the stuff in between the tackles and all that kind of stuff. You're going to have Ingold, you're going to have Chase, you're going to have the big kid, Eric, that you just got, maybe Cedric. Those are the guys that are going to do that kind of stuff. The bubble stuff, the slants, all that stuff. Those are the guys that are going to do it. I think McDaniel brought over Deebo Samuel, but I think the Dolphin Nation hasn't realized that it's in piecemeal. It's all over the place.
Yeah, and I think that's more normal. I mean, that's one reason why Deebo is what he is and such a superstar, because it's very rare to have one person do these different things. I mean, this is not a normal role in the NFL. This is not a normal position. It's why he's such a unicorn, right? Because, you don't see it a lot. But, yeah, I mean, what, Miami's going to do is – and when you're putting together a roster, it's never perfect. So you never get all the pieces you want, which is why you see the creativity of guys like Mike McDaniel and Kyle Shanahan, because they take what they have and they make the best of it. They put them in great positions and they're successful. So you don't have one Deebo Samuel. That's okay. You can have several, play different roles and several different pieces, do several different plays. And, none of it matters, because as long as you can put different guys in place to succeed, you're still going to be productive.
All right, one more thing before I let you go. Hugh Jackson, the NFL investigation led to no findings whatsoever. Meanwhile,
Shocking.
Flores and his lawyer want to avoid arbitration. Walk us through what's going on here. Will the NFL get their way? Because kind of the way it's been talked about, if it gets to arbitration, it's going to be really to the league's benefit overall.
Yeah, I would say, first of all, with the Hugh Jackson thing, not a surprise. I don't believe he helped them. I don't think he cooperated with the league. I didn't talk to anyone who honestly believed anything he said. I mean, I'm not surprised, dude. Hugh Jackson is who he is.
You
He's
follow
always
this
been
league
like that.
enough, you kind of know. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you sort of know. And I think, by the end of his time in Cleveland, everybody knew what he was.
Right.
So, claims are unsubstantiated. Okay, like whatever, move on.
Credibility shot, whatever.
Yeah, he's never coming back. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But as far as the Flores thing, I mean, the reason that they would like to avoid arbitration is they would like to be public. They want to bring transparency to not just this lawsuit, but the entire process. That's been one of their goals. Talk about what they want to do. Part of it is open everything up, lay it all out on the table. Let's make this process better. I definitely understand. I don't know which way it's going to go, but I do understand that one of the things they want to do is expose it all to the public, because when you unveil the curtain, then it opens things up and hopefully allows many eyeballs to improve the whole situation.
So what's your gut tell you? Does it end up in arbitration or not?
I don't know. There's not a lot of precedent for this. So I really can't guess. I could see arguments on both sides. But I think for the Flores camp, making this all public has a real lot of benefits.
Somehow I give the nod to the powerful lawyers of the NFL and not the friends of Brian Flores. Is kind of the way I go. All right, so you have it a mint julep, by the way, when you go to the Kentucky Derby?
I would have many mint juleps, I imagine. Multiple. I got
Is
my
this your
suit.
first time?
It's my second time.
Oh, okay. All right. So what kind of suit you wearing? You wearing something really?
I got a light gray seersucker, some sneakers, a nice big tie. I got a whole thing going. It's gonna be. My wife's got a beautiful hat. We got all sorts of stuff.
Oh, you got her the hat. All right. There you go.
Well,
nice.
She got herself the hat.
Well, of course.
I said that sounds great.
She probably bought you the suit too, if anything.
I had a role in the suit. She helped, but I had a role in it.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right, my brother. Enjoy the Kentucky Derby. We'll catch up next week, Ian. Thank you, my man.
All right. Look forward to it, man. Take care. Thank you.
You got it. There you go. Ian Rappaport, baby.
You've been listening to the Sloman's Home Security NFL Insider Zone with NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. With Sloman's properly securing your home, it's never been easier and more affordable. See how little it costs to secure your home at 1-800-ALARM-ME. The Sloman's Home Security NFL Insider Zone with Ian Rappaport is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley. Please search and subscribe to Big O Radio Show on most platforms and smash the like button.
All righty. Thank you all, as always, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Ian Rappaport joining us here. He joins us normally on Wednesdays at 10:10, but he's got some changes in the schedule and all kinds of good stuff. And so we are accommodating him. It's all right. It's all good. We had a good conversation. We had a lot of things going on. And I keep trying to explain to you all what's going on. All right, what are we doing here? Okay, somebody is eating crap. All right, there you go. Tavo, you are history in the archives. Somebody, you guys got to understand, if you're going to be on the chat board, it's to chat, to interact with people. Let's not be abusive. Let's not try to dominate the chat board and all that kind of good stuff. So we will bat and ghost your ass right out of there if you're going to do that. I didn't even notice. I looked to my left and I saw a whole bunch of. Once I see somebody post 40 times, they're done. I don't even have to look at the message. I'm like, no, dude. You can. You're history. We don't need you. You're not part of our family. You're just an idiot that's coming in trying to, disrupt things. Anthony Campos says, how's your Vegas trip been lately? Any fun, exciting things you did there? Get a tour of the Raider Stadium? No, I did not get a tour of the Raider Stadium. I've seen the Raider Stadium many times driving around. I have not been inside. I'll go inside if I go one day for a concert or a game. Outside of that, I don't really give a shit about going in there and going, it's nice, whatever, and I'll see it. I'm more impressed to go see maybe the Hoover Dam, which I took Sean. I've seen it 100 times, but I took Sean to the Hoover Dam. We went out to the west part of the Grand Canyon. stuff like that. Went to the Pinball Hall of Fame, but I haven't really done a lot of things. Today I'll be doing some work, but outside of that, no, we haven't been doing I'm not partying or anything. If that's what you guys think, none of that kind of stuff going on. Good morning from New England. Thank you, 6193. Pat in Asheville is in. Just a videos says he'll be missed. Haha. Vora Void says, Sean, you should get a moderator to moderate the chat. Well, right now, Sean's not here. I am writing solo, actually. He'll be joining us in a little bit. Pat in Asheville says, ain't no way the NFL lets this go public. And if they can't help it, arbitration is every contract for a reason. And by the way, Vora Void, if you want us to get a moderator for the chat, would you like to pay for it? Would you like to hire the second producer on the show to kind of handle the chat board and other things? Okay. Just checking. Medellin, Miami says, Big O getting ready for work, brother. Lunch break and catch your show later. Hialeah forever. There you go. Jericho says, take a chopper ride around Vegas or through the Grand Canyon. Yeah, my wife and my daughter did that the last time they were here. So Tyndall was a good pick, but I keep thinking Falele would have been better. Well, maybe you should be a general manager for an NFL team. Since you kind of know who the players should be, that might be the better thing you do, my man. Get on board. Go get a job in the NFL. See, Jamie Zorria was first and Steve Chapman. Samuel Robina. Greater Good. Jesse M. Dougie Fresh says, broadcasting from Salvador Dali's bathroom today. I see great win last night. Keep bringing the heat. Let's see. What else do we have? Dolphins don't want to go through drafting and developing another young QB because they believe they can win with the roster they have, a 4-5 window, and they don't have time or patience for a young QB. What's the young QB stupid conversation about? I don't understand. They have their QB. I don't know. Some of you out there are just, I don't get it. Anyway. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk to Cameron Wolf, baby, and our KSDT CPA Miami Dolphins report.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
Alrighty, and there he is, Cameron Wolf, ready to go. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
I'm good, man. I just finished up a workout. It's a good Tuesday. Can't complain at all, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Still in Vegas, so obviously I had to wake up a little earlier for this show. You know what I'm saying? But
I'm surprised you made it, Big O. You're a true professional. I don't know if I could have. I know it's 7:30 right now in Vegas time.
Yes. Yeah, it's 7:34. Yeah. So
remember
when the alarm rang at 5 a.m., it was like, holy crap, dude. I'm serious.
You're looking at it as like, are you serious? I remember we did a couple hits while I was in Vegas for the Pro Bowl, and that was a crazy week because that's when the Flores stuff dropped, and I was juggling that as a TV stuff. And I remember I was on, and I remember reading the comments, and some of the people were like, Cam needs a coffee. And I was looking back, and I was like, man, that's rough. The Vegas time difference, especially because Vegas is Vegas, and you have to live Vegas. it's tough. It's
Yeah,
tough.
yeah, it's tough, and it's tougher for me because I don't even have Sean here with me today. He'll
Yeah.
be on later, and I'm still trying to find the background that goes with your talk. And
There
there
we
it
go.
is.
Let's
And
go.
I finally found it. That's because I have to play the role of producer too today at the same
Right.
time, which is just absolutely crazy. But anyway, all right. So, what'd you think after you watched the draft and then the undrafted free agents? And I know it's not a lot of picks, so it's not like something you can really delve deep into. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think that the Dolphins had 4 picks, right? So we knew it wasn't going to be a big draft for them. I think I talked about it last week. I like the Chen Tendell pick. I think he's a guy who ends up being a player for the Dolphins for a while. I think that maybe not in year 1, maybe it takes until year 2, but I like how he fits with their blitz scheme. You can use him as a sideline dude, sideline to sideline. Look, Dolphins fans, if you remember, and maybe you don't see it this way, but the way I see it, if you looked at the end of the last couple of seasons. Yes, they had their flaws offensively, but they got exposed a couple times late in the season defensively. And I think the biggest difference there was they just lacked speed, right? And so the Buffalo game 2 years ago, you just saw them using crossing routes all over the field. You saw them running sideline to sideline with Josh Allen and being able to get to the edge. And ideally, getting a guy who runs a 4.4 40-yard dash, who can really hit it up the dash, can spy quarterbacks like a Josh Allen, can blitz the way you want him to blitz. That really helps your defense be a faster group. So I'm excited for him pick-wise. I think the rest of the guys they drafted in day 3 have a chance to be, depth players. The receiver they drafted from Texas Tech, maybe he ends up being your number 4 receiver and a contributor on special teams. The quarterback, I think he's probably going to
and a little Deebo too.
and a little Deebo, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, you saw his big ass running and breaking tackles. I keep telling everybody, and I just talked about this with Rapshi, and I've talked about this with you before. Mike McDaniel brought Deebo over. It's just all in pieces. And I keep telling everybody there'll be no Deebo. The Deebo will be in pieces all over the place. Right. Alec Ingold and Chase and Waddle and Cedric and all of these guys are going to play the Deebo role in one way or another, dude. That's what I keep telling everybody.
I think you're 100% right about that. I think you'll see different pieces. And one thing that I think is going to be fun to watch is the Mike McDaniel style offense, how he uses different receivers in different ways. Like I'm really pumped to see how different a role Jalen Waddle is going to have in this year. We saw him in the role he was last year, and this offseason has been wild because it's Tyreek Hill. And so we're talking a lot about Tyreek Hill, right? And Teron Armstead, how good is the O-line? But you forget Jalen Waddle, I think, is going to be a superstar in this league. And I thought he was going to be that with or without Tyreek Hill. So I'm eager to see how they use Jalen Waddle and how having Tyreek Hill opens them up. So I think that the 2 big playmakers are going to create so much attention that somebody's going to eat. So maybe it's the rookie that you mentioned. Maybe it's Mike Gesicki being able to have an even better year than he's had in his career. Maybe it's the running back. Somebody's going to eat because as a defense, your number 1 option has to be Tyreek Hill to defend, and number 2 has to be Jalen Waddle. And both of those guys are more than a handful. So that's going to be a lot of one-on-one opportunities and maybe even some 1-on-0 opportunities. Some guys just left wide open simply because they have to create other attention. So that's what I'm pumped for sure. And then I guess just kind of looking towards the back end, I'll just give you one UDFA that I think really stood out to me. The safety they drafted the safety they signed from Oregon. Vernon McClinley. I was pretty surprised he didn't get drafted. He's a small dude. He's undersized, doesn't have strong arms, maybe not the fastest dude, doesn't have the measurables that everybody looks for.
So you just told me every reason why he wasn't drafted.
But I watched him on tape, and this dude is a player. And and a lot of times I know you're looking for upside in day 3, but I think sometimes teams overlook it. And if I'm picking in day 3, I'm trying to find a player. I don't care if the dude's 5 foot tall, 150 pounds. If he can play football, then I'm gonna see if I can make it work. And clearly, his size is the reason why, like you mentioned, he didn't get drafted. But I think he's a guy. They drafted Javon Holland a year ago. This guy played with Javon Holland. They're obviously really good buddies, but they also play in that scheme. So he's probably not going to end up being a starter in his career, but to have him as the guy who backs up Javon Holland to give you depth if he makes the team and plays special teams, I think that's a big win there. So I think he could end up being their best bet as far as UDFA to make the team.
Maybe a flyer. Maybe that's what he does.
Yep.
Maybe that's his thing. By the way, I had a rap sheet on just before you did and before you came on, and I brought something up to him that obviously this is your old stomping grounds in Tennessee. They ended up drafting a quarterback in the 3rd round, correct?
Yep, Malik Willis.
So I ran this by him. Any chance they become Baltimore Midwest?
I mean, it's possible.
Because they know that the guy they have is not going to get them over the hump.
Yep.
They have the monster in Derrick Henry. They have a line. Yep. They could easily become that, and maybe that's why you also trade A.J. Brown, because if you're going to go in the Lamar Jackson role, and if he is as limited as Lamar is, there's really no reason to spend $100 million on a wide receiver when that's like your 3rd or your 4th option in your offense, pretty much. And so I'm just wondering if they're going, well, if we can't make it work the traditional way, maybe our offense is suited just like Baltimore's. Maybe we can do it this way, and we can control the ball and our defense, and maybe this gives us a better chance to win. So I'm just wondering if Tennessee is also saying we either develop the kid like a quarterback or we also develop him like a Lamar Jackson type.
No, I think you're on it. I think you're on to something there. It's funny. I actually mentioned this in the pre-draft process. And a lot of Titans fans got frustrated because I mentioned I thought this could be a draft for the Titans where they're building for the future 2-3 years down the line instead of looking for that final piece to get them over the top. And Titans fans are like, we're the number 1 seed. We've got to go for it. We've got to get it. And I didn't predict the A.J. Brown trade. I'm not saying that. I didn't think that they were going to trade him. I think that he's one of the top 10 receivers in football, and I was shocked they traded him. But that being said, you trade a A.J. Brown, who's a wide receiver 1, end up drafting his cheaper replacement in the 1st round. And then after that, with your next pick, you draft your quarterback of the future. And I do think that he'll be their quarterback of the future. Now, it like you said, the Baltimore route.
Offense of the future.
Exactly. And so these are cheaper options, but they're also options that are more down the line, like Treylon Burks. Everything I heard from teams is that he's a big guy, but he's not really polished yet. He's the rawest of the top 5 receivers. So he may take a year or so to get ready. Same with Malik Willis. He's the most, maybe the most talented, but the rawest of those prospects. He may take a year or 2 to get ready. And if you want to read the tea leaves, Mike Vrabel and John Robinson both got extensions this offseason. So you get a comfort level where you're saying, hey, we're going to be here for a while. So we have to make sure in 2023, 2024, we have that discipline. And to your point about Ryan Tannehill, he only has 1 more year left this year that's guaranteed. Right. So he's guaranteed to be here 2023. He's non-guaranteed, and so they can easily move on. So I definitely could see a scenario where 2023, after this year, especially if this year doesn't go well.
Towards the end of this year, the transition starts.
Exactly. That you're looking at a scenario where you got Malik Willis, Derrick Henry, and Treylon Burks as your top 3-headed monsters of this offense. And, yeah, if you're doing that, you're definitely doing a lot of read option. You're definitely doing an even heavier run-based offense based on Malik Willis and Derrick Henry. And if you have Treylon Burks as your number 1 receiver, you're fine with that. You don't need that 1,500-yard receiver because you're going to be running based offense. So I think you're right on the money with that Baltimore comparison. And one more thing on that, if you look at how they've built this team and how they've prioritized players, everybody has been on the defensive side of the ball. They just paid Harold Landry $87.5 million over 5 years. They're going to pay Jeffrey Simmons sometime either this offseason or into the season. He's going to be the next $100 million defensive lineman. And so you got these type players. They just paid Kevin Byard a year ago, their safety. They're investing on the defensive side of the ball, which is what Baltimore did for a lot of times. Right. You be a defense-first team, a run-based offense, and you try to win the Super Bowl that way. It's harder, but that fits Mike Vrabel's mentality of physicality, playing defense, running the football. So I think you're right on the money there.
If you don't have the guy that can sling it, which they don't have the guy, they only have the guy that can play on script. That's what Ryan is. He's an on-script guy. Once things go haywire, he goes haywire. He's not the guy that's going to ad-lib. He's not the guy that's going to bring you back from deficits. That's not who he is. And to Vrabel's credit, he has understood that since he acquired him, and he has made him the on-script guy to follow everything, play design, perfect, and all that. But he's noticed that once he falls behind, or once the running game ain't working, this guy's not going to bail you out. And so then I might as well, if I can't find this guy, well, then I better go in the other direction. And that's kind of what I noticed when they took the kid. I go, it looks like they're going to go in the run direction, which to me, that offense is also too antiquated for this NFL nowadays, because the game has to be so perfect for you every single week, and especially in the playoffs, because once that kind of an offense falls behind, it's over. You can't play catch up. There's no way.
It's tough to replicate, right? So I spent a lot of time in Tennessee last year. They had the number 1 seed. They deserved it. They played a lot of good football. But as we saw in the playoffs, they ended up playing the same type of football on defense. They sacked Joe Burrow 9 times. People forget this. They dominated Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense that game. They did something to them that I didn't see any other team do to them. But Ryan Tannehill throws 3 interceptions, and you lose the game because you have no margin of error offensively, because you're a run-based offense. You don't have the explosive plays. And so it's hard to replicate. It's hard to get on a playoff run with that. And I think in the back of their mind, whether they said it or not, they felt like it was going to be hard for them to replicate what they did last year with the same roster and run it back. You see a lot of teams
think about this, Cam. How can you not have an explosive offense with that running game? That's kind of what you need to have an explosive offense. Scare the shit out of them on the line. And all of a sudden, you've got single coverage back there because the safety's got to be cheating all the time. So the beauty is when you have a Cleveland-like situation or a Tennessee-like situation, the QB should be having a field day. And that's why those coaching staff said, we don't have the right guy because, dude, we've got the perfect scenario. When we gave Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, he went and burned everybody left and right. Why? Because you got to worry about Holt and Bruce, but you got to worry about Falk coming out of the backfield. So when you have that combination, hell, what do I keep screaming for Tua? That's all I want. I want a running game and a line. The kid will take care of the passing game. I'm not worried about that. But you can't take care of the passing game if you don't have a running game. And if you don't have a running game, then you need a Marino-like that's just going to keep you afloat and throw a bunch of touchdowns. But if your defense sucks and your running game's not good, then you get the imbalance. That's why I think it's frustrating for the Tennessees and the Clevelands of the world, because they're like, dude, we have the right ingredients. We have the running game, and we have an A.J. Brown. How are you telling me we're not going to take advantage of you? I get it.
Right.
It's frustrating.
It is. And guys in that locker room do things the right way, but just talking to people on the defensive side of the ball after that playoff game, there was a lot of frustration that they felt like they did their job to win and the offense didn't. And a lot of times you're very careful on saying that stuff publicly because you don't want to create divisiveness in the locker room. But sometimes the reality is the reality. They felt like if the offense did what they were supposed to do, they're in the Super Bowl instead of the Cincinnati Bengals. And when that's the case, when the offense lets you down, you have to make changes on offense. And so I don't necessarily think that I would have made the A.J. Brown change. I don't think he was the problem. I think he's one of the better.
That's not the problem.
But when you start to figure out how do we build this team, running it back is not the option, then maybe you have to think, maybe you have to recalibrate, maybe take a step back, which I think they'll take a step back this year, and playing for 2023. And even you can still do that while contending. You don't have to fall all the way to the bottom. But playing for 2023, that's why I think it's smart to always take a quarterback maybe a year before you absolutely need them. Right. And so the Titans don't absolutely need one this year, but they're going to need one in the near future, and I think they just got one.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. All right, now, I know in the end, winning is what's going to really solve anything and everything in sports, okay? But what did you think of the obvious relationship between Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel? Because it's even to the point that Chris is actually even more, because he's a very close-knit person. He doesn't really show his emotions to people.
Nope.
He doesn't smile a lot with people that he doesn't know. He kind of stays within. And what you saw out there on that press conference is what maybe few will get behind the scenes with Chris Greer, not in public, but you can now again, winning is what's going to solve everything. But hell, dude, I mean, if you and your wife are always fighting, you're never really going to ever have a strong relationship. But if you and your wife are constantly getting along, well, then maybe you'll have a strong relationship. I'm just saying, it looks like a good relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the most in a press conference style. That's the most open, jovial I've seen Chris Greer. I mean, he's making jokes about a prospect that Mike McDaniel almost flew out of his chair with, and that's just kind of a fun thing. They're making jokes about Mike McDaniel eating sushi and him talking about Chris Greer jugging down drinks. Like these are things that obviously doesn't help them win per se, but I think you're seeing just how if they're doing this publicly, they're probably doing even more privately and joking around. And it's interesting a lot of times because when you don't have guys who come in together, you always wonder how they're going to jive. You know, guys who I always call it arranged marriages between GMs and head coaches, where you know they come in at separate times. You wonder how they have chemistry without a lot of background together, right? Because you know, you say so Brian Flores and Chris Greer went bad at the end, but at least they both came through the Patriot mindset, so they knew that in their background. But with these two guys, they're coming from completely different mindsets. But you're seeing maybe Mike McDaniel bring that out of Chris Greer, that everything doesn't have to be so serious and intense all the time. You can do your job, but still have fun with it. And I think that's a positive element. You see them having that chemistry together, figuring out how you find the right players. And like I said, this offseason has been all positive because they haven't lost any games yet. There hasn't been any negativity. But I do see what you're talking about with the Chris Greer relationship with Mike McDaniel, and I think that translates into how you build the team. When you figure out, hey, this is a guy that I love to go to war with, I love to watch tape with, I love to build a team with, then it makes it something that you feel like you're both all in. You don't have to worry about, you know, if for whatever reason it doesn't work out with Tyreek Hill. You don't have to worry about, Mike McDaniel wanted Tyreek Hill, but I didn't want Tyreek Hill. You know, I don't think that's ever going to be an issue just based off of their interactions with each other and based off how, you know, it's funny to say kind of but they have both have a little bit of self-deprecation where it's funny. They can kind of joke about themselves and kind of do that. And I think that makes things light and it makes it relatable, right? Because you don't want to see your head coach and your GM all high and mighty above everybody else. You want them to, you know, to joke about different things. So I liked it. I thought it was a fun element of the weekend.
I think, listen, maybe I'm wrong, but down the line when you have your disagreements and you want one thing or another, I think you're going to be able to communicate with each other a lot easier when you have this kind of relationship. But when it's constantly tense, and there's, you know, I think we lost him. Let's see if we get him back. Okay, there you go. But if it's a constant relationship that is tense, then to communicate, it's going to be an uncomfortable situation. So it looks like these guys have created a bridge where they can have those healthy disagreements where it doesn't turn into an argument. It's a disagreement, not an argument.
Right, and I think it helps that Mike McDaniel, we've all talked about, he's a different style of coach. You know, he's always feels like he's having fun. Like it always feels like he's loose. He's never on edge. He's never, at least what we've seen from him in the last 3 or 4 months. Maybe it changes, but it seems like he's always thinking about the clever, the funny, the lighting of the situation while also doing his job. And I think that helps the room overall. There, you know, I do think that, you know, I don't want to belabor the point with Brian Flores, but I think that there were times talking to people in that building where it just felt sometimes tense, you know, and, you know, guys were walking around just kind of, you know, for lack of a word, with tight buttholes. And so I think that, you know, that maybe that's the culture that he wants there, and some places it works. Maybe in New England it works. Maybe other places it works. But I think for here, I think there will be a pleasant relief, and you've already heard players talk about it, that there's a looser atmosphere, and hopefully it's still a disciplined one on the field, but there's an overall feel where you're happy, you're having fun while you're doing your job. And that, I don't know about you, Big O. I'd rather do my job when I'm having fun and happy rather than feeling like I've got to be, you know, tensed and locked in every second of the day.
Only way to do it, baby. Only way to do it. Got to have some fun, man. It's the only reason I've lasted 32 years in this crazy-ass business. Good thing is now I don't have to deal with the corporate world anymore. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf and catch his work there at the NFL Network. And, of course, you can catch him here twice a week with our KSDTCPA.com, Miami Dolphins, and NFL Report. Cam, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up down the line.
All right, appreciate you, Big O.
You got it.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All righty. There we go. Got to tap that app, baby. Yes, sir. Don't forget. Flat fee of $2.99. Download it on iOS or, of course, Android. And look for it. Liquor Split. Liquor Split. Download the app. Tap that app. Tonight, while you're, getting ready for the hockey game, maybe you've got a meeting. You forgot that whiskey, that bourbon, that rum, a little wine, a little beer, some snacks. Order it from Liquor Split. Tap that app. That's what it's all about. Don't you love to tap that app? I love to tap that app. That's what she says. Anyway, download it. Liquor Split, $2.99. Flat fee, no hidden fees. $1 of that service fee goes to solving homelessness in Miami. So get your potato chips, your mariquitas. They got all kinds of stuff there at Liquor Split. All right? Download it. Tap that app here in South Florida. Liquor Split. It's a beautiful thing. Hope you all are doing well out there. Hialeah Park, by the way. We got some boxing coming up on Saturday. Some of you have won tickets. You will get the invite there in the email. I think you'll get it today or tomorrow. Anyway, so some of you that have won, you will get it. I think send in at Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com if you want to go to La Gran Noche de Boxeo Cubano 2. Send it in to Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com or Twitter DM or Instagram DM. And you got to send your name, email, and phone number, and we will tell you if you won. And they will be at will call if we tell you that you won. Pucci 911 Gaming says, Big O, now that the 1 million Bitcoin secret is out of the bag, can you talk more about B-Flow's love of love or love to hate Tua? I mean, I don't know what more you want me to tell you. The guy was against Tua on draft day, never wanted Tua. He was fighting for Jordan Love. So, and listen, we don't really know about Jordan Love either. Okay? I wouldn't mind taking Jordan Love late first round, second round, or something like that, like a project or something. But clearly the Packers have had him there for 2 years, and they said, yeah, no, we're going to stay with Aaron Rodgers. And they're like, we don't even care about this draft pick anymore because the draft pick is useless now. Kid's going to be there, and he's going to be there for the 4 years while Aaron Rodgers is still there, and they're never going to tag him for that 5th year because they don't know anything about him. And obviously, he must not have shown anything behind the scenes. You don't take that guy as early as they did. Some of you wanted to take him even earlier with the 5th pick. I know you'll all disappear now, and you won't chime in. But some of you wanted him early, and I tried to talk some of you up. I said, no, he's too raw. You can't take him early. You have to take him later in the first round to the second or third rounds. That's where you take projects. He's a project. He's got a lot of talent, but he's a project. And you got to be careful. Achilles Smith had a lot of talent. Just because you have a lot of talent and you're Vince Young doesn't mean you're going to turn into a great quarterback. Lots of guys have talent. Jeff George had talent, but he was a pea brain. Doesn't matter. Jeff George has one of the 5 best arms I have ever seen in my life. What are you going to do? It's crazy. Let's see. What else do we have here? Good leaders surround challenges with a spirit of hope. This perhaps more of a specific position need was dramatically lacking with Flores. Hey, Flores, look, man, Flores was a young head coach, and that's his issue. Being a young head coach, you're going to make a ton of mistakes. And that's what he did. He made a ton of mistakes, unfortunately. And he wasn't ready for this. Like a lot of young coaches, they get this opportunity and they're not ready. You can't do anything about that. And eventually they've got to figure it out. I don't know. Now, I don't know if he'll get that second chance to figure it out, but he wasn't ready for this. Like a lot of young coaches that don't end up being ready for this. Now, you know what we are ready for? We're ready to talk a little basketball. Let's start off hour number 2 with Anthony Chang from the Miami Herald and our liquor split Miami Heat report.
Let's tap into the latest with the Miami Heat and our liquor split app Miami Heat reports with insider Anthony Chang. Liquor Split is Miami's own online liquor store. Download, then tap the app and get your favorite liquor delivered to you for just $2.99. No risk, no drinking and driving. Tap that app with Liquor Split. Here's Anthony Chang.
This is the man, the myth, the legend, that is Anthony Chang. How are you doing, my friend? How you feeling after last night?
Doing well, Big O. How are you?
Very good. I guess we don't fear the beard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there is no need. It's funny because he's been doing this since he was at Oklahoma City. Now the worst part for Harden is he's older now. He's got more mileage on him. Maybe he's not in the shape that he should be in. He's no longer the player he was a couple of years ago. So even if he wanted to turn it up, I don't know if he can anymore because of all the mileage on that body. What did you notice from that performance last night?
Yeah, I feel like we've all, like most of us are waiting for him to have one of those vintage James Harden performances just because we've seen it, throughout the years, but it just hasn't been there this season. I think at this point, we kind of know who James Harden is at this point, this season at least. And you saw the Heat try to wear him out, like picking him up full court, putting big bodies on him, putting multiple guys on him, kind of treating him like they did with Trae Young a little bit.
Yeah.
Just tiring him out, wearing him out. And I think you saw that in game 1, especially with how much he has to do with Joel Embiid out. He only took, I think, 13 shots, which
4 in the second half, dude.
Yes, the Sixers, with Embiid, they need him to take more shots than that. Without Embiid, they need him to take 20 plus. So, yeah, I mean, the defensive game plan worked again, to start this series. And, it's going to be tough on James because they need a lot out of him. I don't know if he can give them that right now this season with how he's been playing, especially with Joel Embiid out and, having to really do a lot of it on his own.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. It's just they actually needed vintage Harden last night, and I don't think he has it in him anymore. I don't think he can do that night in and night out. All of this is, I think the lifestyle, the playing, all of this. Dude, isn't he already in his mid-30s now at this point? How old is he? 35, 34? What is he?
Pick 33, 34,
34,
around there,
okay.
32, something
So
in his early
he's
30s.
32?
Maybe.
I didn't even think he was that young. I thought he was already 34 maybe. All right, I got to look it up, he's
32.
He's 32. Wow. Yeah. So then he's a worn down 32.
A lot of mileage on that body. Yeah. I mean, you look at the usage rate he's had especially in the Houston days, he did so much for that team. There wasn't another, he played with Chris Paul. He had a few other, co-stars, but he played such a unique style where the ball was in his hands all the time. That there is a lot of mileage on his body. And yeah, you could tell, I'm not one to critique someone's shape, but as many have pointed out, he's not in the best shape. among NBA players. So that hasn't
I'm a
helped
fat
either,
guy. I can critique everybody that's out of shape because I can say immediately I'm out of shape, so I don't care. But yeah, he definitely looks like he's out of shape. It was nice to see. I'm not going to get too hung up on the Bam performance because he's done this to me 1,000 times where he has a really nice offensive night. But it was nice to see him aggressive. I wasn't concerned about Tyler. I didn't care about Tyler not being, not lighting it up lately.
Right.
You knew eventually it was. Yeah, listen, the beauty of the Heat is they're so damn deep now that everybody can't score every single night. So you're going to have nights, and you're going to have multiple nights where you're going to go, and you're not going to have that star performance that you normally would like out of Tyler. So it's not like you were losing and Tyler wasn't scoring. You were scoring. You were winning.
Right.
It was nice to see Tyler light it up last night.
Yeah, it was good to see Bam and Tyler, like you pointed out, because they weren't, they weren't very good offensively in that first round. Bam was aggressive, which I know many people have been asking him to be. They always ask him to be aggressive, and we saw that in game one. And also just taking advantage of the matchup, right? I mean, you have DeAndre Jordan on you, not the quickest of foot at his age at this point. Took advantage of that matchup. And then the Sixers played kind of small after that with Paul Reed and Paul Millsap and Yang. Even for certain stretches, they're going really small. This is a matchup Bam has to take advantage of, and he did that in the first game, so that's encouraging. Again, is he going to score 24 a night? We've seen that. No, it's not the case. That's not his game.
He is.
But when the matchup is there, he needs to be assertive and aggressive, and that was a good sign to start this series. And then Tyler, yeah, I really wasn't worried. I mean, he's going to have those stretches. He takes tough shots. There are going to be some stretches where he goes cold for a few games, but we've seen it over a large sample now this season that more often than not, he's going to be efficient. He's going to put together really good numbers. Again, this is a really good matchup for him as well. They play a lot of drop coverage, which kind of lends to shooters because they get more space on those mid-range shots, more space on the three-point looks. So I kind of entered this series thinking that this might be a big second round for Tyler Hero, and he's off to a really good start, obviously.
And what I want is, and I think they're kind of focused on this, right? Because they kind of let one get away against the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to be sure to win this one tomorrow and go back on the road just going, okay, now all we need to do in Philly, if we take one of two, we're up 3-1, and that's an insurmountable lead with or without Embiid. You know what I'm saying? But they cannot slip up on Wednesday. They've got to make sure they go back to Philly 2-0 before Embiid does make his return.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of pressure there. Just because, like you said, you want to take advantage of these games without Embiid because he could come back game 3. So all of a sudden, if the Heat lose game 2, the conversation shifts dramatically, and the tone of the series shifts dramatically, and Philly's in the driver's seat, and Embiid might be coming back in game 3, and what are the Heat going to do? So game 2 is important because you go up 2-0, like you said, you're in complete control. The Heat have never lost a series when up 2-0 in the playoffs ever in franchise history. So yeah, I think game 2 is a big one. Philly came into this, I'm sure, thinking if we get one here without Joel, we're in really good shape, and they still have a chance to do that. So, I think game 2 will kind of tell us, not to get ahead of ourselves, but I think game 2 will tell us if this is going to be a long series or not. I think if the Heat win game 2, whether Joel comes back or not, I don't think this goes past 5 or 6. If Philly wins tomorrow, this could be a very long series.
No, I can imagine that this is going to be a really long series if Philly wins tomorrow. Although it'll be, I think you'll have a lot of unhappy Heat fans if something like that happens. But I think they're focused. Look, man, this is a better team.
Yeah.
When they're both healthy, completely healthy, Miami is better than Philadelphia. They're deeper than Philadelphia. They got a way better bench than Philadelphia, and they got a much better coaching staff, I believe, than Philadelphia in the end. So to me, Miami has the edge. You got to take care of business when it's all said and done. Their lack of three-point shooting, do you attribute it to the Heat's defense, or was it that they missed some open shots?
I think a little bit of both, as Eric Spoelstra would say. More than one thing. Sixers after the game were saying they had a lot of good looks and they missed a lot of open ones.
I thought they did. I thought they did miss.
So that's the thing. I mean, I would expect them to shoot a lot better from 3 next game. You're not going to shoot 17% from 3 in every game. That's
most of the maxi shots weren't necessarily challenged.
Yeah. I mean, it was a bad shooting night for them. I think the Heat's defense bothered them. The physicality, they pointed to that after. But I do think they'll have a better shooting night in game 2. But the Heat didn't shoot it well either. They shot 25% on threes. We've seen that they're a much better 3-point shooting team than that. They were the best 3-point shooting team in the NBA in the regular season. So both teams have a lot of room to improve offensively. The Heat were not very good on offense in game 1. Their defense, again, was the reason they won. Their defense has been very dominant so far in the playoffs, second best defense in the NBA behind the Bucks. Their defense was very good in the regular season. So they're winning these games even against Atlanta, their offense was shaky at times, but their defense has been the consistent kind of driving force throughout the playoff run so far. And it was the reason they won game 1 last night.
So let me ask you something. And I don't know if I read most of your articles. Maybe you wrote about it and I didn't get it. What's the Heat record when Jimmy Butler makes a 3?
I don't know. That's a good question. But it's probably pretty good.
I think it was 1 of 4 last night or something.
1 of 4, I'm looking at it right now.
He didn't shoot at a great percentage or whatever. But he sucks at shooting threes.
Right.
Let's be honest. He sucks at shooting threes.
Since joining the Heat has not been a good 3-point shooter, but in the playoffs, for some reason, he all of a sudden becomes a 40% 3-point shooter all of a sudden.
Right. He has a little bit of a clutch thing in him that, he'll hit a key one, you know what I'm saying? But normally, you don't want Jimmy Butler ever behind that 3-point line. Let's just be honest now.
Right.
But I don't know, dude. Every time he makes a 3 in a game, it just seems like that's like, okay, Jimmy made a 3, you're done, dude. If he's making 3s, we're winning. That kind of stuff. So I just would be interested. I know it puts you to work there, now you got to go through all the games.
I could do that. I could get to that.
But I just wonder what the record is, because something tells me it's actually pretty decent when he wins.
Yeah, it's almost like
when he hits one.
Yeah, when Jimmy hits a 3, that's when you know the night's going well, right? It's like if Duncan Robinson dunks the ball, it's like, whoa, that's a great night, So
winning the title there.
Maybe there's something to that. But yeah, Jimmy, it's weird. It's like almost like a Dwayne Wade type thing. I know Eric Spoelstra kind of made this comparison as well earlier in the playoffs. But Dwayne wasn't a good 3-point shooter either. But in the playoffs, for some reason,
Clutch.
He would hit big ones in very timely moments, and we've seen that with Jimmy. In the bubble, we saw that during the playoff run. We've seen it already this playoffs. There's almost like that Dwayne Wade clutch, very timely, out of nowhere quality with his outside shooting.
Yeah, and that's stuff that you can't explain.
No,
but it's just one of those things. And I'm pulling up the box score here because I wanted to ask you something because I thought it was kind of interesting. Max Strus shoots 2 of 8. 1 of 7 from 3-point range. He did have 5 rebounds and 1 turnover, but my man was plus 27 for the game.
Yeah. Sometimes that plus minus.
Explain that, please. Yeah, explain that.
That's hard to explain. Plus minus is a tricky stat. I know a lot of people point to it, and I'll point to it too sometimes.
Come on, Mr. Beat Guy. Explain in layman's terms. How the hell did that happen right there? How did he suck offensively, yet he's plus 27?
He played a lot of minutes with Bam Adebayo, apparently, who was a plus 26.
And Tyler.
And Tyler. Bam Adebayo was very good. Max Strus did not shoot the ball well. But I think, again, as we've talked about Big O over the last few weeks, one of the reasons he's starting now is because he does a lot of other things, right?
No, I know. I'm all for him starting over Duncan, please. Yes,
I was just looking at the numbers right now because it updates in the middle of the night. It's just
funny how you're on the court at the right moments.
Yeah, right. With Bam, yeah. When you're playing with Bam, you're in good shape most of the time. But I was looking at the stats just to point it out. Now that you brought up Max Strus. With Max Strus guarding him, James Harden was 1 of 5. Again, that's not all Max Strus. They brought a team defense.
Right.
But that kind of shows you. I mean, they're going to test Max, and they're going to test Tyler. Max is a solid defender, and he's really kind of
Tyler made a defensive play yesterday, dude.
Say that again?
Tyler made a defensive play
Yeah,
yesterday.
Tyler too. Yeah, they're testing them. We saw that again. I mean, that's not a surprise. Teams are going to do that, especially early in the series to kind of get a feel for what those guys can do. But they passed the test, at least in game one.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's a funny stat to see that line. It's like, wow, dude, the plus minus, right time, right place, and you got your plus minus there. No, but I like him anyways. He plays with moxie. He'll defend. He'll fill the lane. He'll attack the rim. He'll shoot. I like that kid. He has really turned himself into one hell of a player for this team. I really like everything about Max Strus. All right, what are you working on the Herald so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, having my takeaways up from last night, just kind of explaining what happened in the game, kind of interesting things I saw and noticed. And then today I'll have something on PJ Tucker, who was arguably, aside from against Bam and Tyler, the most important player in the game, picking up James Harden full court at 36 years old. Obviously made a couple of threes, those offensive rebounds, that one possession in the third quarter where he grabbed 2 offensive rebounds and then kind of fought off Tobias Harris to let Bam Adebayo get a third offensive rebound on the same possession. So a lot of PJ Tucker praise after the game. So I'll have a story on that as well later today.
Total glue guy, man. That's one of those guys that you would be missing badly if he wasn't on the court.
For sure.
There's so much in so many ways. He's impressive. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chang. Catch his work at the Miami Herald. And, of course, catch him twice a week here with our Liquor Split Miami Heat report. Anthony, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Of course, Big O. See you in a few days.
You got it, baby. There you go. That's our Liquor Split matchup. Liquor Split Miami Heat report.
You're now tapped into the latest with the Miami Heat. This has been the Miami Heat Liquor Split Report with insider Anthony Chang. Download the Liquor Split app and enjoy your favorite drinks at wholesale prices. Delivered right to your door in minutes with a flat fee of $2.99. VIP lifestyle without the VIP prices. Tap that app with Liquor Split.
Yeah. There you go. I like it. I like it. By the way, Essential Moving Experts, a new sponsor of our program. We love them. Great people. Sean and the great people at Essential Moving Services, whether it's local moving services, home moving services, long distance moving services, office relocation. They do it all. Flat rates, no surprise charges. You can rest easy knowing that you're in great hands with the great people at Essential Moving Experts. Safe and efficient loading and unloading practice and practiced at all times, folks. They've also got storage for you too. You're going to love them. Check out the website. Go to essentialmovingexperts.com. You can set up an appointment there. You can reach out to them. They do it nationwide. You can also go to the website, essentialmovingexperts.com. Tell them that Big O sent you. Essential Moving Experts. Moving was never so easy with Essential Moving Experts. So make sure you reach out to them. Great people out there. And check it out, Dolphins colors. How about that? They're big fans of the show. They listen to the show a lot from Daytona. He's actually been listening to our show for a while now, and he wanted to become a part of the family and sponsor our show. And there you go. So if you're looking for a moving company, man, you got to support the people that support us. Essential Moving Experts right there. 844-368-5740. That's 844-368-5740 for Essential Moving Experts. We're going to have Manny Navarro join us here at the bottom of the hour. Then we'll have Omar Kelly at 12:15 and George Richards at 1 o'clock. So we are absolutely loaded, man. Marlins, by the way, ended up losing to the D-backs yesterday, 5-4. They're now 6-5 at home, 12-10 overall. Pablo Lopez giving up 4 earned runs in 4 2/3. Not like him normally. That ERA ballooned to 1.61. He's been so awesome, man. First loss for him. He's 3-1. Today, 6:40 is the first pitch. Humberto Castellanos from Arizona is on the mound, and towing the slab for Miami is Trevor Rogers, who's 1-3 with a 5.09 ERA. He's got to turn it up a little bit there and get it going. Irving Figueroa says it's very difficult to exam. You're given. Oh, I don't even know what the hell you guys are talking about. Steve says, Big O, you seem much more rested today. Yesterday, I could tell you were shot. Fins up. I don't know. I don't think I'm rested either way. But whatever. If you want to say it, go ahead and say it. I did go to sleep about 10:50, I think it was, and I got up at 5 a.m. So, I don't know. That's not a ton of sleep, but whatever. It is what it is. Let's see. Tua is going to crap on the league this year, possibly MVP season. That would be nice. Ravens Rook Miniatures says, Big O, I see Omar on Twitter trying to get on the Tua train. Well, he's got no shot to get on the Tua train. He's been kicked out of that Tua train. Joe Shad, Omar Kelly, Alan Poupart, off that train. Cam Wolf and Marcel are still on it. Raul says, I love you, Big O. We love you too, Raul. Thank you. What else do we have here on the chat board? That dude, a bot? Who's a bot? Tell me who's a bot. We'll eliminate him right away, whoever that bot is. All right, so Heat are back in action tomorrow at 7:30. Panthers in action tonight at 7:30. George Richards will join us at 1 o'clock to talk a little Oki. Do I have time? Yes, I do have time to talk about this. So we got people in the media and the fans, and they seem to have a problem kind of understanding the Dolphin or the lack of Dolphin offense from last year, and how, you know, we have this whole thing about replacing Dieter, and most of you make it sound like Dieter was giving up 800 sacks when he really wasn't the problem like Austin Jackson was, or even Eichenberg, who's a rookie, or even Jesse Davis, who's a seasoned veteran, and he was terrible last year. And we lump them in there the same way. And I get that Austin Jackson looked terrible, but we also have to give Austin Jackson a little bit of the benefit of the doubt also, because he didn't have the proper coaching. And he just didn't have the environment he needed to succeed. Neither did Eichenberg. And Notre Dame, you know, I don't know how so many people could be wrong about Eichenberg. Because all the NFL guys I talked to, they all loved Eichenberg, bro. And Notre Dame seems to pump out offensive linemen all the time. And then we get to Tua. And so obviously those of us that believe in Tua and those of you that don't, and it's almost like we never ever give any kind of, or some of you never give any kind of understanding to the actual dysfunctional situation that was happening. A coach that couldn't put an offensive staff together was putting together a terrible offensive staff that could not coach through a paper sack. So how in the world are players going to perform when they're being told to do one thing that's wrong? And even if they know it's wrong, even if they see that it's wrong, even if they see there aren't results, they still got to end up doing it because it's what the coaches are telling them to do. And yet somehow or another, a popular word on the show, a lot of people can't compartmentalize all of that. And they can't separate the two. And it has to be that Austin Jackson for sure can't play, and Eichenberg can't play, and that Dieter can't play, and Solomon Kinley can't, and all the linemen are terrible. You know, Hunt's the only guy that doesn't get killed. And that Tua is terrible. And and at no point is the environment ever really blamed for the failures of an entire unit. Because that's what it was. It was the failures of an entire unit. A unit that couldn't produce a running game. A unit that couldn't block and protect. A unit that had Jalen Waddle catching 6-yard passes. You're not going to see that this year. You're going to see much more vertical play from Waddle and from Tyreek, no matter what you think of Tua's arm. Because I believe the confidence will be there on offense now. But it's one of those things that, and I heard it all weekend long. Oh, Dieter. We got to bring in competition. We got to replace Dieter. And at no point does anybody ever say Dieter did actually a half decent job, considering how dysfunctional the entire situation was. So really, in the end, what I'm trying to tell you is have a little patience and wait till this coaching staff takes over, because the players that you've given up on, thank the Lord this front office wasn't stupid enough to react off of your emotions and cut all of these players. Because I guarantee you, several of them will end up playing good football for somebody else. And then we're going to be pissed. And then the people that wanted them cut, well, nobody will know that they wanted them cut, but they'll sure enough be airing their dirty laundry saying, now I'm pissed at the front office for letting those guys go. Yeah, the guys I wanted to let go. But nobody tracks what you say. To me, that's the part that it's just frustrating at times. And I don't think we understand how bad it was for these players on offense, how impossible it was for them to be competitive when you have that much incompetence around you. You know, Manny's coming up now, and I think we're going to see a lot of what we didn't see with Manny Diaz, that is, than with Cristobal. And why? Because just like the Dolphins, the Canes had their dysfunction. And I expect Cristobal to bring a certain level of discipline back to the team, and I expect them to make less mistakes. I expect them to be better coached. I expect players that might have underperformed under Diaz to now perform at the level they're supposed to perform under Cristobal. Why isn't it? And that's easy to understand, right? Why isn't this easier to understand? That I think that the offensive staff that you brought is much more competent and accomplished, by the way, than the current staff that you had here. Why isn't that easier to understand? Can't explain it. But I think you'll see a different Michael Dieter this year because you have a different coach, you have different teachers, and you have a different offensive philosophy that will these coaches find a way to complement their team and their players. If you watch all the stuff that Mike McDaniel has designed on film, it's there to complement and assist his players and help them succeed. It was almost like last year you were asking players to bail you out because You didn't know how to design anything to get them out of the hole that they're in. That's part of coaching. You have to see what the players can't see. You have to put the players in positions that they did not realize this is how they're going to win. That's what great coaching is all about. Now, let's get to a little Miami Hurricanes talk with our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro. Exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All righty, there he is. I was just talking a little bit because all weekend long people were like, we got to replace Dieter. We got to replace Dieter. And Dieter really wasn't that terrible last year, not like Austin Jackson. And one of the things that I've been talking about is that I expect this coaching staff, which is much more accomplished than the last one offensively, to have way more success, which, by the way, goes with the same thing you're doing right now. Yeah. Compared to what I saw with Diaz and his staff, to me, I have a level of expectations from Mario Cristobal that he and his staff will teach these players and assist them in making them better too in the process. So I'm expecting a much more disciplined and better coach team this year, which is another way you're going to improve. It's not just about getting a 4 or 5 star. It's about actually knowing how to coach that 4 or 5 star so he can be a 4 or 5 star on the field.
Yeah, they're going to get the average players, the guys who were underperforming last year, to perform better. And I think just in scheme alone, you look at what Kevin Steele's going to do with that defense, right? Because defense really was the issue. It wasn't the offense. They were scoring plenty of points to win games. The problem was in the fourth quarter, even in tight games, you go back to the North Carolina game, you go back to the FSU loss. It was really breakdowns in coverages and not having a pass rush, not getting to the quarterback in time. And you look at some of the analytics and some of the stats. I was reading one from one of my colleagues who's our Penn State writer, Audrey, and she mentioned how in her story, because they're breaking down Manny Diaz, right, and what he does with his defense and how's he going to help Penn State. I think Miami blitzed ninth most blitzes in college football last year, Miami's defense. I mean, he had to bring extra pass rushers, so that left you susceptible in the middle of the field. And really when you blitz at the wrong times and teams hit you with draw plays or screens, or you were getting eaten alive. And there were so many instances last year where a lot of Miami defenders were one-on-one in the open field with lots of room, and they weren't able to come to the tackle. It's a hard thing to do in the open field to come down with a tackle. So I think just strategically, from the way Kevin Steele coaches and the way he's done it and had success at multiple programs, you're going to see this defense fundamentally be more sound. Are they going to get as many? Are they going to blitz as much? Probably not. Are they going to, be as sort of taking as many chances as many Diaz? No. So I think right off the bat, that's going to help them. And then the coaching itself, as you mentioned, Jamal Adai has got a great reputation as a secondary coach. I've heard nothing but rave reviews. You watch that spring game. How much better did the guys in coverage look in that game? In the spring game, in terms of being stride for stride with receivers and being in positions where they need to be. So I fully expect this to be a much better coach team this year.
Your article in The Athletic, you talk a little bit with John Ruiz about the stadium. Walk us through what's the latest there.
Well, John Ruiz has been trying for a long time, right, to find a location and build a stadium and, Tropical Park. This is a conversation we've had for years, right? Well, obviously the deal with Inter Miami, getting their approval from Miami commissioners to build at Freedom Park, which is right next essentially to the airport, right? Melreese. Finally, he's had a conversation with somebody in UM's administration. They finally called him and talked to him about a stadium. And obviously he's close with the Moss family. I think his son, Alex, told me they live 2 minutes down the street from where Ruiz lives. And so, you know, any way that they could have an effect, giving some money to this project, you know, helping in any way that they can, that's what they plan to do. I mean, his whole goal is to help the University of Miami, and then help his own business, right? So I think, you know, basically what we have going is the first early steps to potentially Miami partnering with Inter Miami and playing their home games there. Now, I will say this: I did speak to people in Miami's administration, okay, and while I think, you know, they're open to the possibility of playing home games there in a 50,000 to 55,000 seat
that wasn't
stadium.
the plan, right? But that wasn't the plan,
right? Assuming that gets adopted, because I think right now it's what 27, 28,000 or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Assuming they get involved in that and expand it to 50,000, I think that there's a possibility to do it. That said, I think Miami's administration likes playing at Hard Rock Stadium for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's been renovated. They spent a ton of money, right? The Dolphins did to fix that thing up and make it awesome. Secondly, I would say the location. Miami's well aware, and if you read my article, I break down
Palm Beach kids and all that.
Yeah, I mean, that's being on the Broward Palm Beach border allows them to draw fans from everywhere. Being in the city, where, you know, obviously traffic will be a nightmare in that location. It's going to be.
No, we have people in Broward or Palm Beach that think they need a passport to get into Dade. So yeah, no, I got you.
So, you know, while I think the idea is nice, I also think there's smart people in Miami's administration that say, you know what? We're kind of happy where we are. We have a good deal with the Dolphins, a good enough deal. And I know everybody's like, well, how are you going to, you know, and I mentioned this all in my article. Make sure you go and read it at The Athletic. But people are like, well, how are you going to pay the bills? You're paying Mario Cristobal a boatload of money, right? You have this huge staff now. You're spending a lot more on football. In their eyes, they've always had the money to spend it. And it's just a matter of choice and whether or not you invest. And they'll make their return.
Listen, if you win, now you'll start filling up that stadium, and you'll sell more jerseys than you ever have, and you'll make more money than you ever have. So yeah, and by the way, you'll have and that stadium, the new one for the soccer, they're not going to have as many suites as this one has.
Right.
So, and you're still going to have to share revenue because it's not your stadium. It's Moss's stadium.
Right.
So you're still going to have to share revenue when it's all said and done. So, yeah, that kind of makes sense to stay at Hard Rock. To go to Melreese doesn't make a difference to go to Hard Rock or Melreese. The only way it makes a difference is if you have your own stadium. That's the only way it ultimately will make a difference.
And I think, you know, for a guy like Ruiz, and we talked on Friday about a lot of different things. I think for Ruiz, I think, you know, he just wants to be involved in helping the university. Now, he would prefer to build his own stadium, but I think knowing that this is the first real to have a hand in helping in some regard.
Right.
And this was the first time he's been invited to the table to speak to somebody at Miami. So, you know, that's a big, to me, that was the lead to the story is Miami's actually having conversations with people that would have money to influence this. So that makes it more real than anything else we've heard so far. Because for Ruiz, as much as he can go and look and do all the steps, until Miami calls him, until they're involved in the process, it's not really happening. It's just, you know, doing homework, so to speak. So I don't know what's going to happen. I would say this is the best shot before 2033 for Miami to, you know, be in a position to play somewhere other than Hard Rock. Now, like you said, their own stadium, the right location. I don't know where that is, though. I mean, I think, you know, I really think Miami's administration understands the dynamic of where they get their fans from. They've done the studies. Okay. They know they've done their homework. They know that there's a lot of people from Broward and Palm Beach County that pay for season tickets to come watch, and they don't want to alienate them. And let's face it, if you go and you look at from 1983 to 2007, okay, the championship era of Miami football, when they won all their 5 championships in those years, they averaged fewer than 50,000 fans at the Orange, but they only had over 63 times in all
Yeah,
those
yeah.
years.
It's always the big games.
It's the big games.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. We're not gonna fill a place up for Boston College, bro.
Well,
nobody gives a shit about Boston College. It's just the way it is.
But I will say, since 2008, they've averaged 51,000 fans, and that's without winning any championships. That's with being pretty bad or pretty average. You know what I'm saying? So in the end, location does matter. Location does matter.
And listen, Dolphins and Canes are living on their history.
Yeah,
that's why they still have the support that they have. That's why the Heat can actually have a couple of down years if they had to, and people will still support them because they have developed a foundation, a history, and so they can live off of that too. Not that the Heat would ever want to do that, because they always want to make history. That's
they
who
always
they
want to
are.
win.
They always want to win, man. But yeah, no, when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense to stay there. And really, the option of your own stadium is just not materializing. It's just not that easy anymore. Miami is so built up, man. We had to think of this idea 35, 40 years ago when maybe you might have had some space in Dade County somewhere to get away with it. But now it just doesn't exist. All right, so we've had the spring practice. Players now, they've got up to, just under 90 scholarships. So I'm sure some guys have been tapped on the shoulder like, hey, just want you to know you may not be getting too much playing time here. You might want to go somewhere else. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. So what are you hearing? How many guys are going to transfer out? Will it get to the point that they'll get under the 84 so they can go back into the transfer portal? And then part two of that, any transfer portal rumors going on?
Well, listen, one thing I want to make clear from the top, okay, there were a handful of guys that didn't even participate in spring football, okay, that are still technically on the books as having a scholarship, okay, but they weren't even at practices. They weren't even out on the field. Guys like Sam Brooks Jr., the linebacker who's had terrible foot injury that he's been dealing with for the last couple of years. Isaiah Walker, the offensive tackle, he had some personal off-the-field issues that he's been dealing with his family for years now, with part of the reason he left Florida. There's a handful of guys that when you look at the roster, you go to the Miami Hurricanes website and say, man, this guy's, they haven't taken him off the roster yet. Those guys, my understanding is they won't be back. They've already had those conversations. It's kind of like just finish school, finish the semester, and then, move on somewhere else. That doesn't mean they have to enter the transfer portal. Their athletic careers could be over. It could just be a matter of they're finishing school and they're no longer counted towards the 85. So that right off the bat is what I'm going to try to educate some people on, because I think there's a little confusion, right? Like what are the numbers? So I would say there's probably 4 or 5 guys that are in that situation. And once they're announced, it'll become official, but that's to give you a better idea with that. Now, there were guys that entered the portal last week. Daz Worsham, the receiver who Miami, at one point he was committed to Alabama. Then he came here. He never really got on the field or did anything here. He's gone. He announced that over the weekend, or it was announced over the weekend. The punter that they brought in to replace Lou Headley, Foley, another Australian-born kid. He was waiting to be the punter this year. Lou decided to come back. He's going somewhere else to find work. Okay, he's looking somewhere else to go play.
Well, hey, give him a 6-pack of Deadly Headley, and he'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. And then Deshaun Troutman, the linebacker who had that domestic dispute, him and his girlfriend got into a fight. They, for lack of a better word, beat each other up. He was basically dismissed.
Exciting and new.
He was basically dismissed from the football team. And so you have, I think they're down to, by my estimation, okay, and guys that I'm thinking are no longer there because of what I told you earlier about, their athletic careers essentially being over. I think they're on 83, 84 right now. So they can certainly add if they want to. It could be even lower at this point, because I don't have the complete list of names of guys who are leaving or set to leave. But I think it's around 83, 84, which means they can add that receiver if the guy comes available. Now, I know there was a lot of discussion about the kid Addison out of Pittsburgh, the receiver who entered the transfer portal, but it looks like he's headed to USC on a pretty nice NIL deal. Trojans. Okay. Lincoln Riley doesn't mess around either over there, right? I mean, in California,
we're not the only ones spending, is what you're saying. Okay.
well, and I would say this. Okay, I went to USC and UCLA with that South Florida Express group. In California, USC and the schools in California are allowed to participate in NIL. It's a different deal. Here in Florida, the state law doesn't allow that. So imagine that, Ruiz and Cristobal could team up together and discuss what they want. Technically, by law, they can't do that here. And
they would never do that.
Right.
There's been no communicating between Ruiz and Cristobal. No,
not at all. By the way, did you see the photos of Cristobal's house, the mansion that he just bought, that $8 million, whatever it was? It's ridiculous. A mansion, beautiful. But anyway,
by the way, did you notice the messenger pigeons that he had also? Just saying. That's how he communicates. No digital imprints. He sends a paloma to Ruiz.
It just flies out there.
Here's what I want. And he lands in Ruiz's thing. He picks it out. He goes,
hey, man.
Hey, running back from Illinois. You got it. NIL. Here we go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if Florida state law caught up to California state law, just to make things easier. We don't have to pretend anymore, right? I mean, we can all be above board.
We have pigeons. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, but that's it. That's the transfer portal update. That's the transfer portal conversation, so to speak. There may be still guys whose names pop in today, because technically, the kids can file up to May 1st, but then it's up to the schools to put all the information in the computer and spit it out. So there may have been guys over the weekend that still had put their names in that just aren't out yet. It always takes between 48 and 72 hours after they post it to appear. So there may be more, but we'll see.
Isaiah Wong, is everything all right now? Is his wallet all right? Everything good?
His life wallet is doing just fine. Ruiz had a good conversation with him and his mom. I don't want to say the agent went rogue, but I think the agent certainly was trying to help his client get some more money, squeeze some more money out of the situation, and probably made a mistake going to ESPN and telling them, this is the deal. But, that's the way he played it, and we'll see what happens going forward. But for now,
and soon he'll be fired.
And soon, right, and soon Isaiah will probably get more money. I mean, I think while there's obvious reasons for a guy like Isaiah to say, hey, man, I did more for UM than this kid Pack did. He's not even here yet.
It's true.
It's all about your market value. It's all about your market value, baby, and who wants to pay you and so forth. And like I try to tell people all the time, if you're the free agent, that team has to go over, the cap, so to speak, versus giving somebody an extension. It just depends on who wants you and what's out there. And so I don't know what other suitors are out there for Isaiah Wong. There may not be. But I think there certainly were a lot of people who wanted Nigel Pack, and that's why he demanded the kind of NIL deal he got.
I'm just glad we're keeping Long Duck Wong here.
He'll assuming he comes back and doesn't go pro, which I hope he does. I hope he watched all the football guys go undrafted this week and learn a little lesson. By the way, you thought I was crazy when I said John Ford to you a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you remember. You said, who's draft eligible? Right. And I said to you, he could be a guy who makes
the only guy.
Right. But I said to you, to me, I thought it was Bubba Bolden, then Rambo, then Ford. Those are the three guys I thought had an opportunity to get drafted. And when I said John Ford, you looked at me like, Ford? And I said, I told you, we can go back to the replay of the video. I said to you, run.
He's the only one, dude.
And
nobody else got drafted.
He carried the flag for the Canes. He carried the flag, kept the streak alive 48 years now, going back to 75. I didn't realize the Gators, 1951, I think, is the last time they didn't have anybody drafted. They're the only streak longer as far as Miami's concerned.
1951?
Yeah. They've had somebody drafted every year since 51.
And us? Since when?
75.
Okay.
Seminoles is 83.
Okay. Interesting. Wow.
Yep.
Even through the crappy coaches. Amazing. All right. What are you working on in the Athletic so folks can check you out, my man?
Well, I'm flying tomorrow for Phoenix to go down to our athletic meetings, and I was hoping to jump on the flight with Ruiz tonight to go to pick up the Cavinder twins and all that. But apparently, that's That's not happening because they haven't been admitted into school. So maybe down the road, that'll be a nice story to tell. But for now, I did catch up with Jafari Harvey, who won one of the MVP awards for the spring. Him and Tyler Van Dyke were basically the team MVP. So I caught up with him, talked to him about his snake collection and these lizards. He's a guy who's big into Animal Planet, and he loves feeding his pets rats. He loves to sit there and see these guys just strike. And so I have a little story with Jafari on that, and being one of the 5 guys I think that are kind of rising up. Their stock is rising heading into next year. They have a chance to do something and potentially get drafted. So I have that, and then as I mentioned before, I caught up with Malik Rozier, the 2018 starter. That story will be done, but for now, man, I mean, it's kind of, we're in that chill mode in the summer now, where it's like, okay, there's a little bit of recruiting going on. There's the transfer portal you're still watching. And then a couple of these features. So that'll be what's on top here. And then I also got to dig into the state of the program, which the Athletic already launched, which is basically a must read if you're a college football fan. You want to get the dirt on every single Power 5 team, and some of the best group of 5 teams. I got to register in UCF. I'm going to have to meet up with their coaches, with Gus Malzahn at some point here. And then I'm doing, of course, Miami. And so there'll be a ton of stuff to read in the Athletic here over the summertime. We got a really good staff. And I always tell people, don't just get the Athletic for the Hurricanes coverage. Get it for all of college football.
Oh, yeah.
The best college football team.
Yeah. Definitely. No doubt about it. All right. Follow him on Twitter. You see it there. If you don't, you're listening at Manny_Navarro. Catch him twice a week here doing his thing with our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report. Manny, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. I'll talk to you again.
You got it. Don't forget, all orders over $99, free shipping at Caneswear. Go to the website, caneswear.com. You can get your Dolphins stuff, Marlins gear, Panthers, Hurricanes, Inter Miami, and anything and everything with a UM logo at Caneswear.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right. Appreciate all of you out there. Don't forget EJD Construction, a proud sponsor of our program, man. And when we talk about a company that gets a AAA rating from the Better Business Bureau, fully insured, liability, everything, do not have anybody go to your home that is not licensed and insured. Okay? Make sure you check their license. Make sure you check their insured. If they get injured on your property while they're working there, they can sue you. And by the way, a lot of these workers, they know the laws better than you do. All right? So call people that are reputable, people that are licensed and insured and will not give you any trouble. EJD Construction didn't stop at Home Depot to pick up a couple of dudes before they got to your house. No, these are professionals. And we're not talking about a handyman. We're talking about a complete, whether it's custom home construction, you want to add an addition to your home, you want to add a second floor to your home, you want to modernize that kitchen, you call EJD Construction. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com. All right, last night we got it, man. We told you to go with the Heat -8 in our liquor split matchup of the night. Let's do it again.
It's time to tap that app. And no one loves to tap that app like the Big O. Here's the liquor split matchup of the night.
I don't deny that Jaylen Brown and Tatum they're excellent players. But one of the things that I've seen that's notorious about this Celtics franchise so far, this version of this franchise, is they still don't shine in the biggest moments. And I'm talking about Tatum and Brown at times. And while they are freaks in their own way and they're excellent players, well, you saw it the other night. No, Middleton and Milwaukee survived, and now they lead 1-0. Well, guess what? Going into tonight's game at 7 o'clock, the Bucks and the Celtics are favored by 4.5 points. And I know they're home. The over and under is 215.5. The Celtics are minus 195 in the money line, and the Bucks are plus 165. Now, the Bucks have already accomplished what they needed to accomplish, which is split on the road in Boston. So they can lose tonight, and they'll be fine. And I think they will lose tonight. But I also think if they lose a really close game. I'm going with the Bucks here. I think the Bucks are gritty. They can play defense. That's the one thing that the Celtics did not face in the last round. And the Celtics have still got to show me that they've got that toughness and that grit in the key moments. Here we go, playoffs. It's time for Tatum and Brown to show me they can get deep into the playoffs and justify their amazing talent. I'm going to ride Giannis and company because I know Giannis is going to sell it and he's going to lay it all out there on the court. So my liquor split matchup of the night, I'm going to go with the Bucks plus 4.5 points. And don't forget, download the app, iOS or Android, Liquor Split, and tap that app, baby, so you can get your favorite drinks delivered to you. Your favorite wine, vodka, whiskey, chips, salsa, all kinds of snacks. They got them for you, baby. Tap that app. Download it, iOS or Android. Liquor Split. That's our matchup of the night.
The matchup of the night is brought to you by Liquor Split, Miami's own online liquor store. Liquor Split. Download then tap that app and get your favorite liquor delivered to you for just $2.99. No risk, no drinking and driving. Tap that app with Liquor Split.
And by the way, you can get my favorite energy drink there too, Edge Energy Drink. You can get it there. Yeah. Or, of course, you can go to myedgedrink.com and get 10% off and use my code Big O. Now, at Liquor Split, you can get my, Edge, but you can't get the 10% off. You got to go to My Edge Drink to get that. Anthony Campbell says, Big O, you excited for Top Gun 2? Have you seen the first film? I know that sometimes you can ask people, have you seen this film? And it's like Godfather or Animal House or Old School or, Avatar or whatever. And it's like a movie that everybody's seen, right? And then when somebody, you mean you didn't see Fast and Furious 6 or 8 or 5 or 1? And you freak out, right? And so you would freak out if I would tell you I've never seen Top Gun. But it's just funny to say, have you seen Top Gun? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, no, I watched Top Gun, man. I remember watching Top Gun when it first came out in Plit Gables in Miracle Mile, which, by the way, I think I got to see that movie for free because my buddy worked at Plit Gables, and I didn't need a ticket to walk in, so I just walked in. It's a beautiful thing. Remember having that hookup back in the day, Plit Gables. Oh, that was so good. So good. So many free movies. And I think Top Gun was one of the free movies that I saw there. So, yes, I have seen Top Gun, 40 times. That's one of those movies that you stop when you're channel surfing. You know what? I can't tell you that I'm like super excited for Top Gun 2 because so many of these sequels have let me down. And this is one of those sequels that you're doing it 40 years later. And that's the only thing that I don't like about this. This is the kind of movie that should have had a sequel a couple of years after. And we could have kept up with everybody. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I'm going to watch it. I don't know if I'll go to the theater. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll give it a chance. I don't go to the theater much. But, yeah, it's I'm looking forward to seeing it. I can't say I'm really jacked or anything like that because It's hard to beat the original, man. The original is a damn good movie. Big O, are you excited for the new MLS stadium in Miami? Yes, of course I am. I love it. Inter will have its home. They'll have the second stadium for other games and things like that. So, yeah, it'll be cool, man. I got no problem with it. I love it. They weren't going to do anything with that land anyway until Inter actually said, hey, we'd like to bid on that property or do something on that property. That's what I love about everybody that's up in arms with all this. Oh, we can sell it for this, that, or whatever. Well, why weren't you doing it in the first place? It was a deadbeat golf course for decades. What do you have, 15 people going to play in that golf course? 12 of them are judges in Miami? Give me a break, dude. That place has been a waste forever, and they did nothing with it. So I get it. A private entity, you don't want to do something, and you never did anything. Now that Moss wants to do something, now you want to come up with something? Oh, please. It's just a bunch of crap, whatever. Moss and company will do a good job with it and hopefully bring a bunch of jobs, which is what we need. Listen, public managed things are so mismanaged. That's what I love. Well, we should do this. Yeah, like the Metro fail. We build a subway system that is incredibly limited. That's the stupid ass things we do. We build a turnpike extension out west, right? And when you're coming east, you can't get on the turnpike. Now they're going to start building that ramp. 15 years after they built the extension. We got the dumbest ass mofos running this country, state, cities, all of it. So give me a break, dude. So well, we can use it for public. Oh, yeah, right. And all these morons, all they do is mismanage everything. Orange Hair gave away billions of dollars, and all these idiots were just ripping off the government, filing all kinds of phony ass crap for millions of dollars. Now a bunch of them are starting to get arrested for it. And then the new guy takes over and he keeps printing up more money so we can keep everybody lazy in this country and not working. You know, when you actually think that our public officials are actually going to do something that's actually right, that's the joke. That's the real joke. Everybody up in arms. Oh, City of Miami can use that property. No, City of Miami will mismanage the property like they have already by leaving that deadbeat golf course there forever. And on top of all of that, it's on top of a land that's polluted. And were we ever going to clean it? No. So why not let Moss and Company clean it up so environmentally we'll be safe? And then on top of all that, build whatever they're going to build there and stadium, hotels, and whatever, and jobs will come. But they'll probably do it a hell of a lot better than the city will, because we'll end up screwing it all up like the Miami Arena, that we ended up demolishing it with $28 million in debt. Please, stop it already trying to tell me like any government official or city, county, or country is actually going to handle and do things the right way. All they do is mismanage everything, dude. That's why we're in this stinking mess that we are. Yeah, break. Anyway. Big O, do you think we see D-Rob in this series at all? I know his defense is limited, but the three ball is a factor again at some point. I guess when others are cold, then you use him. Duncan Robinson has made his own bed, bro. The guy has, Duncan Robinson had an opportunity to start, has an opportunity to score a lot of points. And in the process, you've got to improve your game, dude. You got to become a better defender, facilitator, ball handler, play off the ball, attack the rim, fill the lane. He does nothing. He only shoots. So, sorry. If you need it and he comes off the bench and he's hot, you go with him. But if he's not, what else is he going to do for you? And that's the problem that Duncan Robinson has put himself in. Not anybody else. Don't blame anybody but Duncan. So will we see him again? I have no idea, my friend. But he's kind of made his own bed. So, nothing more dumb than Vegas, Big O. Our state flowers here is construction cone. Let's see. We voted them all in office, Big O. I know we're a stupid country, bro. We're a stupid country. Please. All they give us is Hillary, Trump, Biden, Bernie. Think about the clowns that they give us to vote for. It's just ridiculous. Neither side knows what the hell they're doing. Democrats, Republicans, they're a joke. And the bigger joke is any of you fools that actually defend either side. That's just that's the bigger ignorance. Like, you can't even see what's wrong with each party. Like, damn, dude, you're that dense? It's a joke all the way around. None of them know what the hell they're doing. None of them, dude. It's ridiculous. What's your make of Drew Rosenhaus Dolphins talk about Akeem and Dunlap selling his players like he always does? Big O, love the Skyler pick, love his tape. Hopefully he will surprise. Well, he's a developmental kid, and I would think that for next year, if he can develop, then you can let go of Teddy, and then you'll keep him as your backup. Andy Jackson, politicians equal corruption always, no matter what side. No matter what side. You are correct, Andy. You are correct. Bernie's not a clown. Okay, he's what, a goofball? An extremist? What do you want to call him? Brandon, don't even, Lord, as bad as the Dems can be, Republicans, Lordly, they're both all corrupt. They're both a disgrace, please. Don't defend either side, and don't think one side's better than the other. They're both pathetic. The sad part is that some of you aren't willing to call your own side pathetic. That's the sad part. You know what I mean? That's the sad part. Any of you that actually defend the former president, the current president, the last couple of presidents, give me a break, dude. It's just a shame. I like that Greer didn't want to touch next year's draft picks. I think Greer and, Marvin and Reggie are freaking awesome, bro. I think the Dolphins are going to be a hell of a team. They screwed up with Flo. That's where I can pick on those guys. And I can't blame them. They thought he was the right guy. Hopefully they fix that issue. And you know what? Let me tell you something before we take a quick break here. If Mike McDaniel works out, okay, this puts a nail on the coffin on how good these guys are. Because one, I think they're going to prove to those of you out there that don't believe in Tua will shut most of you up, and he will ball out this year. And so most of you will shut up and finally admit you were wrong about Tua. Yeah, I know what's coming. Oh, but no, he's healthier now. I didn't, his arm didn't look like that. That's why I had to say that. No. Bottom line is, you don't know jack shit about the quarterback position, and you just ran your mouth, and you just didn't really look at the situation. That's fine, whatever. But here's my point. I think it'll prove out that most of these draft picks have worked out. I think it'll prove out that the quarterback is the guy. I think it'll prove out that they screwed up with Flores. And if they fixed it with McDaniel, then all of a sudden they have faced a world of heat in the first couple of years and have overcome all of it. The quarterback, the draft picks, the answers to all of that, and then they got the coach right. Now you know your front office is the bomb. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's what I think is going to end up developing throughout all of this, is that we're going to see a team really take a step forward. And I think a lot of the reason why they'll take a step forward is because they had fixed their coaching situation. That was really the thing. Think about this. The team won 9 or 10 games, and the coach was the guy kind of holding you back from all of this. Because if McDaniel is what he is, or what he's supposed to be on offense, and you're a 9 or 10 win team, well, then you should be an 11 win team this year. You should be in the playoffs. And that'll be the proof that flow was the problem. And it'll be the proof that this front office is going to do the good things. And when they cross the bridge of the bad, like the flow thing, they would have the balls to eliminate the problem and fix it. So in a short amount of time, they would have accomplished a lot of things and convinced you about a lot of things, that they can draft, that they can find a quarterback, and that they can find a coaching staff. That right there, my friends, if it develops like that by the end of the year, then I think as a Dolphin Nation, everybody can kind of calm down and say, finally, we have a front office and we have a coaching staff. Let's take a break. Hour number 3 is next. Omar Kelly is set to join us at 12:15, and George Richards will stop by at 1 o'clock. Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend, is running the show. And don't forget Edge Energy Drink, a proud sponsor of our program. Delicious, smooth, zero aftertaste. And all you got to do is go to myedgedrink.com, get 10% off right there. 10% off myedgedrink.com. Use the code Big O. Code Big O. Get 10% off. Hour number 3 is next.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411, and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal door. Please call for more details. That's Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411. Trust Tommy to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. Sports Grill on Bird Road, Miami Lakes, and their newest location in Doral is now hiring. If you're looking to join a great company and South Florida institution, give them a ring or drop an email. Sports Grill is hiring all kinds of positions from hostess to servers, bartenders, or join the kitchen staff to craft some great food for their amazing customers. Please send your resume to m.cruz@sportsgrillmiami.com or call 305-219-5726. That's 305-219-5726. Sports Grill. Good food, good drink, good friends.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
When When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. The viewing statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by Caneswear. Go to Caneswear.com, where all orders over $99 get free shipping. Sloman's Total Home Security. Protect your home with the best in the business. 1-800-ALARM-ME for the company serving America for nearly 100 years. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tommy B. Butts Junior Enterprises.com. Licensed roofing contractor. 100% financing is available. Go to Tommy B. Butts Junior Enterprises.com.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. OK Coin is one of the largest fiat to crypto trading platforms in the world. Founded in 2013, OK Coin offers advanced features for crypto beginners and high-volume traders alike, enabling users in 184 countries worldwide. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
There we are. We're back, ready to go. There you go, A. Lenny Locksmith. We love A. Lenny Locksmith. By the way, the lockdown segment will be coming up at 1 o'clock with George Richards. But if you are looking for a locksmith, there is nothing like A. Lenny Locksmith. Whether you locked out of your home, you're locked out of your car, please call them. They've got locations all throughout South Florida, Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties. ALennyLocksmith.com, on Twitter at ALennyLocksmith. Also, you can get it there too. Also, so make sure 24-hour locksmith anytime, and even our friends in Orlando and Tampa, you can also, if you need a locksmith. And we also have a location in Phoenix, Arizona. It is growing nationwide. We will be adding more locations. We will be telling you more about the other locations as Lenny continues to grow, but he started it all here in South Florida. So check it out, man. If you need a locksmith, even programming your car keys, he does that. All right, let's go to a man that's never programmed. That is Omar Kelly and our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
Oh, yeah, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Omar Kelly. Although I saw you tweeting there that your standard answer is you believe in Tua. You haven't done that here. You're off that bandwagon. You cannot believe in Tua. You're off that bandwagon.
If you say so. I believe in Tua. I've always believed in Tua. There are areas and issues that he's got to address, from velocity, leadership, work ethic. But if he takes care of those, learns the offense quickly.
Are you seriously questioning his work ethic? Did you really just say that?
I have to, based on things that I've heard. So
on the misinformation you heard?
Listen, I have to, based on things that I've heard. And
Brian Flores?
What about Brian Flores?
He told you that he has no.
I didn't say that. I don't have to get my information from Brian Flores. Brian Flores isn't feeding me information.
I don't know, because he's your buddy. I saw you guys smoking the peace pipe there on I Am Athlete.
Listen,
I saw you passing it over to him. Here you go, and he was like,
Everybody knows I don't work like that. Listen, this is something I've heard and goes back to last season. And don't want to believe it, but if you hear something enough times, you gotta give it some credence. You gotta give it some credibility. And I believe he's working. I don't believe you have to be a film guy in the building for 12 hours a day to be a successful quarterback. But
how's a guy that gets busted up with a hip in November and is ready by this beginning of the season lack work ethic?
I'm talking about.
That to me sounds about the most ridiculous thing in the world.
I'm referring to preparation for games.
The guy played for Nick Saban. There's no way he can be lazy, bro. There's no way.
I didn't say that he was lazy. I said that it's a concern. And
if you say he doesn't have work ethic or it's a concern, then there's laziness tied to that.
No,
That's the only concern about work ethic, my brother. Is either you have it or you don't, right?
Not concerned about laziness. I know he works. I know he's committed. I know he's competitive. There's just concerns about his commitment. And maybe that was different because it was a different coaching staff. Or, listen, I am interested in seeing how he operates this year. When
that guy lives, eats, and breathes football and family.
And
that's all.
And
that guy.
That's one of the things.
He's not hoeing around. He's not on South Beach. He's not in casinos. He's not caught gambling.
He's on the golf course.
Dude, there's nothing in that guy's life except football and family. That's all I ever hear from Tua.
And golf.
Nothing wrong with that. It's called hand-eye coordination. Do as many athletic things as possible that sharpen your hand-eye coordination. I have no problem with that, dude. Okay, if you want to play golf, the best athletes that aren't golfers are usually quarterbacks that play golf. You know what I mean? It's just
listen.
Right?
I don't have any firsthand. I know this because I've seen this. I know others have. But It's a question. It's a concern. You asked me what are my concerns. I told you what my concerns are, and this is not based on.
I just don't see how that could ever be a concern with that kid.
And ask around.
Johnny Manziel. Okay, I get it.
Ask around.
You know, there are certain guys that I have asked around. I have not heard a lack of work ethic at all. I've never heard that about him. You know what I mean? I've heard the guys that are worried about, you know, the size and the arm and all that other stuff. And obviously you have to give him time to heal. And I think a lot of people are watching it now on video. I saw what Nick did showing the progression of his throws from one year to another and how his body obviously is getting more flexibility out of that hip. But of course, you have to give him time to heal. Absolutely. The man got injured in November and was ready to be slammed by Michael Brockers in September.
I was of the opinion that he shouldn't have played his whole rookie season.
That was my opinion from the get-go. He should never play.
In hindsight, I'm glad that he did because it speeds up the process, speeds up development, speeds up the evaluation. But there's still work to be done. He's still quarterback number 19. We need him to be quarterback number 12 at least.
Oh, he'll be that easy this year. I'm not worried about that. Once he has the help that he needs, that's why you're not on the bandwagon. You see, that's why you're not on the bandwagon. You didn't believe
on the bandwagon.
That face there. You didn't believe. You didn't believe. I believe you don't.
If being an unapologetic excuse maker is
it's not a matter of,
is a requirement for being on the bandwagon, I have no desire to be on it.
It's not a matter of being you see, that's the problem, that you look at it as it's an excuse.
Listen, do me a favor. Do me a favor. You got Joe Shad on. You got Alan Poupard on.
Yes.
Who else you got in Dolph? You got Cameron Wolf on.
And Marcel.
Marcel. Ask them this direct questions.
Yes.
Have you heard concerns about Tua's work ethic? And watch them tap dance.
It's all right. I'm fine. But remember, I'm the guy that told all of you he's running roughshod through the building, and none of you had heard about it.
Listen, okay. So, I didn't say.
So it's not like I don't know what's going on in that building. I know what's going on in that building sometimes. You know what I mean? I can't tell you I know everything, but I do know sometimes what the hell's going on in that building.
It is alarming, little bit troubling, little bit disturbing, and understand that while I'm not a Tuanon member, I am a Tua guy. I'm a believer in Tua. I'm an advocate for Tua. I'm a supporter of Tua. One of the few left in the media. But it's a little bit troubling, disturbing, uncomfortable when you hear criticisms, unsolicited criticisms about him from former coaches, current teammates. And the current teammates I've heard forever. There are guys he still has to win over. And I assume and feel like part of the issue he's having and has always had is because he stole a team unintentionally from Fitz. And if you know anything about Fitz, and I've talked about this on the I Am Athlete podcast with people who have played.
By the way, he didn't steal anything. The coaches made the call.
They gave it to him, but in the player's mind, he stole Fitz's team. Now,
look, listen. A player comes to me and says that the difference between you and me, I would have told that player, "Don't be silly, dude. The coach made the call. It has nothing to do with him." They wanted to play. And by the way, I would tell that player, "Don't you know that they were playing their politics behind the scenes with Flores?" I mean, have you not figured that out also, player
when you
A,
have,
B,
when you
whoever
have to
you
bring
are?
in Fitz into the game twice to save the game, and they know and feel that Fitz is the better starter, and this is the team. This is not
So
opinion.
get pissed at the coach. Don't get pissed at the player.
Exactly. But here, you listen to me. Give me 1 minute and listen to me.
I got you.
When you're a player and you see that dynamic, you understand it, but you see that, and then you see the grizzled veteran who's Mr. Popularity in the NFL and Mr. Popularity with every team he's ever been on. In terms of teammates, still would put you ask any teammate of Fitz, name me your top 5 teammates. I promise you he's gonna be on everybody's list.
Yes,
it's
yes.
just
and in the end he'll let you down because you'll never get to the playoffs and you'll never do anything.
But
so I don't know what the love affair is all about. But
you didn't give me my minute. Everybody loves Fitz, and Fitz is viewed as a very good leader. And when you, as a player, I think I'm explaining to you why I think that he's having this issue with former players, guys a little bit more established. When you watch Fitz have the team taken from him and handed to Tua, and then you realize or you understand or you have in your thought process that Fitz is the better quarterback, the better leader.
I get it.
It creates a level of resentment and it's like you love your mom, but now you've got to love your stepmom. It's not your mom, and you love Fitz, but now you're told to love your stepmom, and there's this discomfort there. Then the Deshaun Watson thing didn't help. Then the coaches not liking him didn't help. Same guy that stirred the entire disruptive drink is gone. Yeah. So all of that. That's my point, dude. It's not Tua, it's flow. Okay. It's not Deshaun Watson, it's flow. Oh, trust me, it was Deshaun Watson. It was Deshaun Watson. I'm saying it's all flow. His teammates wanted Deshaun Watson. That's fine. And then the coach ends up stirring and creating that problem because from the get-go, he didn't want Tua. He didn't want to be. From the get-go, he was going to be disruptive about how he brought Tua along because no coach in their right minds starts Tua against the Rams. Damn. That's a goddamn theory right there. No, that's a fact. You saying he started him against the Rams to sabotage him? Of course, dude. Wow. Of course. And you just answered your own question before. Wow. If Fitz is playing well, why would you bench him? Bro. That creates problems. I'm like in tears how earth-shattering that conspiracy theory is. Like, not to say, but dude, you didn't even know. You didn't even know he didn't want him. Most of you guys did not want to believe me when I told you he never wanted him. Not to say that I disagree with you, but that's like an earth-shattering, even conspiracy theory. Not to say that I disagree with you because. Omar, we normally pull the young guy off the bench against a bullshit team, bro, to start him off. You start him against the worst team possible so you can build confidence. You don't put him up against the best front seven in football so they can smash his hip again. I mean, it's just... But if Fitz had won that game, it would have been hard to take the team from Fitz. If Fitz won that game, then the coach was doing his job, bro. But coach, he's not doing his job by putting an inexperienced rookie behind a line that can't block and can't run in front of the best front seven in football. He still won the game. Yeah, Tua. Yes, he still won the game. And that's the other thing. Tell your player. No, that by the way, he had a winning record with Tua. That defense won that Rams game. Okay, fine. Flo had Sean McVay stressing, acknowledging that he got thoroughly outcoached. Listen, I'm not discrediting your conspiracy theory, because I'm a big believer in conspiracy theories. Well, it's not so much conspiracy. I just think he's a flat-out asshole that hated the kid so much that he actually freaking went against the kid anything, bro. I don't think the hate was always the dislike. Let's not put hate on it. Okay, right. Yes. I don't think the dislike was whatever the hell, whatever adjective you want to use. Yeah. Bro. I don't believe the dislike was always present. So, I mean, and I think that he did things to try to help the young man succeed, hiring his 7-on-7 QB coach, putting Chad O'Shea in charge of the passing game. I think he did things, basically making the RPO his base offense. He did things to help the young man succeed. I just don't know if those were the right things for the organization and the right things for Flores. That's water under the bridge. You were right. He didn't want him. He doesn't believe in him.
No, she's never believed in him. Never believed in the guy.
I don't know if he never believed in him. He doesn't believe in him. And despite the fact that Flores has a winning record with Tua and doesn't have a winning record with anybody else. And
did you tell that player that?
It's multiple players, bro. It's not.
Did you tell multiple players that?
I've told them all the time I believe in Tua. And their response is, you know what their response is? He doesn't have the arm. He's not going to win us games on his own. And then I'll sit there and I can list off the games that he won or put you in position to win. And their response is, he doesn't have the arm. And I'll be like, there's nothing I can say to that. There's literally nothing I can say to that. Like, so we'll see. We shall see. And that's what this season is about. And if it doesn't pan out, Brady will be the quarterback in 2023. Garoppolo will be the quarterback in 2023. And we'll move on.
Yeah. I don't know about Garoppolo, God.
Come on.
I like Garoppolo. I've always been a Garoppolo guy, but I think I'm wrong. He just can't stay healthy, and he can't make the big throw in the key moment, bro. It's just
we'll see. He's in a contract
two
year.
Two things that have really
He took a team to the Super Bowl, and he took them to the doorstep of the Super Bowl last year.
No, I know he can pass, but he has those two hurdles.
Yeah, I'm a Jimmy G fan, so. I ride with the people that I roll with. Now, do I think
I'm a Jimmy G fan too? But I have to see. Unlike you, I take the L when the L is there, and
there's no L on Jimmy G. Hold on.
He's had more than enough time to prove himself to stay healthy or to make the big throw.
Bowl.
And he had the guy wide open for the win, and he overthrew him.
He was one win away from taking him to the Super Bowl again.
Dude, listen, close only counts in hand grenades and horseshoes. You got to get it done when you have the opportunity. That's the problem with him. I mean, listen, you're not willing to take the L. I get it, but I am.
I
have to say that after all these years.
Somebody's going to make him another $100 million quarterback.
No, I doubt that, bro. He can't stay healthy, bro. He will not be able to.
You think when Jimmy G hits the market as an unrestricted free agent in 2023, he's not getting a $100 million contract?
Nope, he's not trusted.
All right.
You trust him more than most.
All right.
I don't think most trust him.
We shall see.
To make that throw.
You see what these quarterback thirsty teams are doing out here, right?
Well, Omar, if they were willing to give him 100, they would have traded for him already.
That's fair. Okay.
That's fair. Nobody that's worth $100 million. AJ Brown was worth $100 million, and they traded for him, right?
Why trade for him now when you can get him for nothing next year?
Because he's not worth $100 million. That's why I'm trying to tell you.
I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is you could go get him for nothing next year. Why trade for him now? There are about 8 teams if he was
$100 million quarterback, that means he's franchised. That means he can take you to the Super Bowl and win it. Teams would have been lined up and traded for him.
Ryan Tannehill's a $100 million quarterback.
Yeah, that's again.
I just threw up.
Kirk Cousins is too. So what?
I just destroyed
your theory. That doesn't mean anything to
Kirk
me.
Cousins is a $100 million quarterback. Kirk Cousins is the highest paid quarterback in the league.
I mean, mistakes are made. What can I tell you, bro? I don't want Kirk Cousins as my quarterback.
Carson Wentz is a $100 million quarterback.
Who?
Carson Wentz.
Again,
mistakes are made. Yeah. Listen, bro. You ain't gotta be elite. You ain't gotta be elite to be a $100 million quarterback.
I know that, but if you're gonna tell me $100 million, I'm gonna tell you, okay, I need, Mahomes and Brady, and I need like Russell Wilson. If I'm going to spend $100 million, I want the guy. I don't want $100 million and get a Jag. That doesn't do me any good.
All they got is Jags out here, bro.
You know what I mean? That's
all they got is Jags. 8 upper echelon quarterback. The rest are Jags.
Did you like anything in the draft outside of the linebacker? Because everybody loves Tyndall. I would imagine, right? You do like Tyndall, right?
Yes. Come on.
Okay.
Just
want to make sure.
I just don't know if he's going to be able to beat out Landon Roberts in year one. I think he's going to be a role player because Landon's the captain of the defense. And
but I think on first and second he might be able to in the second half of the year if he's smart enough.
Yes.
If he was making the calls at Georgia. So that tells me he made some calls at Georgia. Not all the time.
Or the call.
No, because he wasn't full time, so he couldn't make them all the time.
Dean was making the calls.
Yeah, he makes the calls, but I think at times he was there. He could make calls too.
So, I need to talk to him and see him operate and work before I can prognosticate.
If he can do that, if that's true that he was able also to make calls when Dean wasn't doing it, then he has that too. Then that tells me he might be able to transition the second half of the season.
I gotta know how
first and second downs, short yardage, and all that.
Yeah, I think he's on the field as a third down guy. I think he's on the field as a third down guy. Only competition is Duke Riley, but first and second downs. I'm looking for a 3 down every down linebacker.
He'll be there eventually. I think. You
asked me what I liked. I like the Chris Greer BPA approach. I do. I've always done so. It's what leads to a healthy roster. Did he reach on a center? No. Did he address the center? No. But c'est la vie. Right now, they're the only team in the NFL without a backup center. So that means every free agent should be lining up to try to get here.
Well, one of the guys is a center. What's it called? Ty Clary played center too.
Undrafted free agents, bro.
But undrafted free agents and 6th and 7th rounders are the same thing. There's really
I agree with you, but
you can still find a guy. I'm saying
I'm not interested in telling you that guy's your answer.
No. All I said is he played center. I didn't.
You know how many centers the Dolphins played last year?
4, I believe.
4. How many do you have in your roster right now? 1.
2. Clary's the other one.
Okay.
He played center. What do you want me to tell you? I'm not telling you he's the answer. I just said he played center.
I'm referring to NFL players.
But they probably they probably signed him because he played center. Is what I'm saying.
I'm referring to NFL players.
I got you.
Not like wannabes.
So what's the word with JC Treader? What is it? Money and knees? What the hell is the deal?
It's got to be age. You know how this league gets when you're a 9-year up and up veteran. They act like you need to be put in the senior citizen home. We'll see. I don't think they want to. I think they really want to give Dieter every opportunity to succeed.
Well, there's been total overreaction on Dieter by everybody. I think Poupart nailed it. He had the line of the last week and a half here. Everybody keeps treating Dieter like Austin Jackson and Eichenberg when he never played that bad. In fact, Hunt was the better guy. Then it was Dieter. Dieter wasn't getting beat like Jackson and Eichenberg and Jesse Davis. Yeah, he made his mistakes.
Dieter played 8 games. Dieter played 8 games and wasn't
okay. But the games he played, he wasn't terrible like those guys. Okay,
if I got
so maybe he might be better with these guys.
Big O, you're on radio, you do your podcast. And you're not doing a terrible show. You're not doing a terrible show. Great compliment, right?
That's
I don't want to
do business. I don't
want to do business.
That's what my wife says about me too. You're not a terrible husband.
You're not a terrible lover.
No, she actually says I'm a terrible lover. No,
I'm just saying. If you want to tell me, you want to describe me, you know what, Omar? You're not a terrible journalist. You're not a terrible columnist.
But what I'm saying is he was all right. He wasn't terrible like Eichenberg and Jackson and Jesse Davis were terrible.
You know what, Big O?
You're an
all right lover. You're an all right radio.
Well, that's an improvement.
You're,
made some improvement
listen,
now.
you're an all right day trader. Like, I'm not doing business with you, bro.
No,
Like,
I got you. I got you. But,
you know.
But again, under this coaching staff, it's hard for anyone to excel.
All right.
And it's
I'm
not
backing up.
fair. That I talked about this today. It's not fair to judge most of these guys on offense because of the people that were handling the offense.
All right.
Now is when we get a chance to really judge.
That's fair.
That's
fair.
Even Austin Jackson and Eichenberg. Which, by the way, I am nowhere near giving up on Eichenberg because there's no way. Dude, every NFL guy I talk to loved Eichenberg.
I think
no way they're all wrong.
I think he should be the center. But here's what I have a problem with. And this is a very small, minor criticism. If you're Chris Greer and you say we want competition at every position, tell me where there is no competition. There's one area, one spot where there's no competition.
Center. Yeah.
Fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can fix it a week or two before camp, and that's fine.
Well, there's no competition at left tackle.
No. Okay,
There's
but you got backups.
No. Don't trump me again. Don't change the conversation. There's no competition at left tackle.
No competition at X receiver either. What you want?
And no competition at quarterback. And no competition at free safety.
No. There won't be a competition allowed. I do believe there's competition.
Oh, please. See, that's why you're not on the bandwagon.
I can't be
That's
on the
why you're
bandwagon.
not a believer. Once again, another example.
Listen, if I have to be an unapologetic apologist, I don't want to be on the bandwagon.
These are facts. They're not apologies. They're
Tua
not
gets
excuses.
hurt for a month.
Facts.
Tua gets hurt for a month. He might never see the starting spot again.
Oh, please. Give me a break. Again, what has Teddy Bridgewater accomplished? Thank you very much
More
for
than
playing.
what
has Fitz accomplished? That's what you gotta. When you have that player tell you about Fitz, you turn to him and say, "Excuse me, what has Fitz won? Thanks for playing." Okay,
Listen,
Teddy Bridgewater has never done anything.
I believe he was the 8th highest rated quarterback in the NFL last year. If Tua Tagovailoa
that and a glass
is the
of water
8th
gets
highest
you
rated
nowhere.
quarterback in the NFL this upcoming season, they will throw a parade for him in Miami Gardens.
I don't care about stats. You get in love with that. Tannehill put up some stats. It don't mean anything to me.
When did
He
Tannehill put up
never
stats?
wins. He never takes anyone to the playoffs and never does anything in the playoffs. And that's Teddy Bridgewater and that's Ryan Fitzpatrick.
And that's
Let's stop selling players who have been in the league for long enough and have had every opportunity and never did it. Teddy had a defense, had an offensive line, had a running game, had receivers in Minnesota, and could never do anything because he doesn't have – if you talk about arm and talent and all of that, he has less talent and less of an arm than Tua. So I don't understand any of this. So please stop telling me about Fitzpatrick and Teddy Bridgewater, two guys that are nothing more than backups their entire careers.
No, they've been starters. They've been starters.
When they're starters, that means you have a terrible starter.
I believe that they've started 2, if not 3 times the amount of NFL games.
Yes, and Teddy Bridgewater throwing 15 touchdowns and 14 interceptions or 15 and 12 really is lighting up the world. Yes, you can go check the stats. I'm pretty damn accurate when he was in Minnesota. And by the way, he started 5 games in New Orleans, and he threw 9 touchdowns. The man can't even throw 2 touchdowns in a game. In that's in the Saints offense. Okay? I'm telling you, Teddy Bridgewater has never and ever will be an explosive quarterback. His
18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Where, Minnesota, or are you talking about Seattle?
I'm talking about Denver.
New Orleans.
I'm not talking about his first 2 years in the league. If we're going to hold him to the standard of his first 2 years in the league,
I'm talking about the 2 years he
won
started in Minnesota.
17 games and lost 11. Tua, that is a better record than Tua.
Yeah, look at the. He doesn't have, dude. Tua would be 20-5 with that team in Minnesota.
I don't even remember the team in Minnesota. But listen, okay. Let's just see how it plays out. Because I'm not saying
Minnesota's had a playoff team the last few years under Spielman. Believe it or not, they've had the defense. They've had the defense. They just don't have the quarterback. They have your guy Kirk Cousins, and they have your guy Teddy Bridgewater. Those guys don't get you over the top.
They both I will own Kirk Cousins. I will not own Teddy Bridgewater.
And you own Fitz too. Boy, you
got
a threesome.
Fitz. Listen,
that's
Fitz
your threesome there.
Fitz is Mr. Popularity, bro. Like, listen.
He can be all popular he wants. He doesn't win jack shit. That's the problem. There's no playoffs in there. There's nothing in the resume.
Tua doesn't win jack shit either.
He hasn't been in the league. He's only been in the league 2 years with crappy shit.
And in the first 2 years he's been in the league, Teddy Bridgewater took a team to the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right, because he was in New Orleans.
No.
Give him that.
He was in Minnesota.
Minnesota?
Yes. His first 2 years in Minnesota, he took a team.
Oh, yeah, I know. When he threw 14 touchdowns and 12 interceptions.
5-0 record with the Saints.
Yeah. Look at his touchdowns and interceptions, buddy.
9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
No. You're talking about that's New Orleans, buddy. Those are the 5 games in New Orleans.
Isn't that what you said, the Saints? 9
but no, in Minnesota when he had everything. He did nothing in New Orleans. They went 5-1. He threw 9 touchdowns in 5 games. That's garbage, bro. You can't win like that in this league. The defense carried his ass. And look at Minnesota. Did you look at the 2 years in Minnesota? Look at his touchdowns, interceptions. What are they? Say them.
28 touchdowns, 21 interceptions.
Exactly. In 2 years. You don't win with that.
What's what's Tua's in 2 years? It's comparable.
No, it's not comparable because he didn't have the offensive line, the running game, the wide receivers, or the offensive coaches. It's not even close, bro.
Okay.
Not even close. Go look at that Minnesota line he had. Go look at that running game he had. Please.
All right.
Come on, dude. That's what I keep saying about Tua. Give him what Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill have in New Orleans, what Teddy had in Minnesota, what Tannehill has in Tennessee, what Stafford has in the Rams. Give him a defense and a running game and a line, and you'll see the rest is history.
That's all I've been asking for the last 2 years.
I'm trying to get on the bandwagon here at the end of the year.
No, I don't want to be on the bandwagon.
That's right. See, you said it. You said it. You don't want to be on the bandwagon.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't need to be on the bandwagon. Doesn't mean I'm not a Tua believer. Doesn't mean
you're a Tua disbeliever if I've ever seen one.
All right.
Okay. You and Flo are probably having drinks, and you probably have Tua dolls, and you're like pinching them and all that.
Listen, make sure when all your other guests that cover the Dolphins come on, you ask them if they've heard about Tua's. Ask them about Tua's leadership and work ethic.
Okay.
Ask them what they've heard.
I'm going to ask them what they've heard and if they question it like Omar Kelly does.
No, don't ask them if they question it. Ask them what they've heard.
But you've questioned it, don't you?
Just ask them what they've heard. Don't give them a leading question. Just ask them what they've heard.
Me? Lead anybody? No, I would never do anything like that.
One of your hosts, not even going to out him, was on a golf course with Tua the day of a game. That's commitment.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Him and Cam shooting up a couple around there. It's all good.
Listen, it is what it is, bro. I want to believe that he's this polished, clean, quarterback who works hard, is a great leader. That he was at Alabama, committed to the game, committed to football, committed to being the best that he could potentially be. Unfortunately, I have to wonder about that stuff now. And he's got those are things he has to silence with a new coaching staff.
The hate is real. I got to tell you. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. What are you working on the Sun Sentinel? What's the new hateful, hurtful article you're working on Tua in the Sun Sentinel?
I am doing a deep dive into the Dolphins depth chart. Kind of, I do this every year at this time, sort of assessing who how many guys on the training camp roster will easily make it to the 53-man roster to figure out where there are holes.
You got Tua making the team?
I got Tua starting, of course. If he can stay healthy.
I don't know. I'm reading that article. I might see Tua
if he can stay healthy, which is a big if, big concern, big mystery there.
Lock and run the ball, and he'll be fine. Damn it. That's all we need. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. Catch his work at South Florida Sun Sentinel. And how about I Am Athlete? When you on again? What else?
Fridays on I Am Athlete tonight.
Tonight? You're on tonight?
No. It's a radio show on Sirius Channel 82.
So your night is Fridays, is what you're saying?
Yeah, my day is Fridays. So, and then I don't know if I'm on the next episode. We work 3 episodes in advance just to give you the process. Right. I think I'm on like 2 of them, 2 of the 3. So we'll see.
Can you tell us the guests?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
That's fine. I didn't tell you it was Jordan Love either, so that's all good. All right. Follow him on Twitter.
Listen.
Follow on Twitter. Mark Kelly.
People are like, you should write that, and I'm like, why? For what reason? What for what purpose? Like it's like going to a grave and digging up a body to examine it. For what? Like what's I don't like what's and I think it's dumb. Like I like Jordan Love too. I'm not selecting him at 5.
No. That's I kept. By the way, those Dolphins have disappeared because I had a lot of them. Like they wanted him at 5. I was like, no, dude, he's a project. You take him late first, second rounds. That's where you take projects, bro.
The funny thing is, back in that process, I reported what people were telling me, which was that the Dolphins were high on Jordan Love and liked Jordan Love coming out of the Senior Bowl, and were considering him as a possible selection. My assumption was if Tua's gone, they go Love over Herbert. But to hear that there's a strong possibility, because I'm sure he'll come out and tell a different version of the story if asked. To hear that there's a strong possibility that they would have selected him at 5, I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, it wouldn't have happened.
I'm like, maybe 18. Maybe that's your play. You go.
He was the only guy in the room that wanted him early. He's the only guy.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. I'm not interested. We'll. They're married. They're married. No, they're not married to Tua. They're engaged to Tua. I'm not bringing up old relationships because that goes bad when my wife does it. So, or when I do it.
There he is, Omar Kelly. All right, go do your thing. I appreciate you, my brother. We'll catch up later in the week.
All right, man. Talk to you.
You got it. Omar Kelly in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Omar Kelly. For additions, home remodeling, or custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
All right, and don't forget, folks, that the Big O radio show is proudly brought to you and powered by Nature B. I've been powered by Nature B for about 20 years. When I tell you 20 years, I'm not lying. I've been taking it for 20 years from clean, green New Zealand. My daughter's been taking it her whole life since she was a kid. 27 vitamins and amino acids, 28 minerals, and powerful antioxidants. Those things will knock you silly, baby. And they'll knock all that crazy, ugly stuff out of your body. That's what it's all about. When you talk about bee pollen, freshly gathered in clean, green New Zealand, and it's potentiated, which, of course, enhances rapid absorption in the body. Sustained energy all day long. How the hell do you think I get up at 5 a.m. to do this thing? And 3 o'clock fade, 2 o'clock fade, 4 o'clock fade, not going to happen. Eases those squeaky joints and old sports injuries, improves your digestion. Plant pollen it's so good. It's Mother Nature's way of giving you natural medicine. And in today's virus-filled world, that's my favorite part. I never get a cold thanks to Nature B and those 2 golden capsules. And, I know you might be vaccinated. I am. You might be boosted. I'm double boosted. I still take my Nature B to protect myself. Maybe that's what's helped me, not just the vaccinations, but Nature B. Order it right now, and you can get free plant pollen free shipping on your plant pollen when you order at natureb.com. So you can get a 1-month supply, a 3-month supply, a 6-month supply, and get free shipping. Use my code Big O, natureb.com. I love it. All right. If you want to get in on the Welton Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line tonight, it is the Panthers and the Capitals at FLA Live Arena. You know who's going to be there? The guy that's always there, George Richards from Florida Hockey Now. He joins us in our lockdown segment, alennylocksmith.com. Let's get to the lockdown segment now.
Time for the lockdown segment with Florida Panthers insider George Richards. This lockdown is brought to you by A. Lenny Locksmith Services. Count on them 24 hours a day. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com. Here's FloridaHockeyNow.com insider George Richards.
He's ready to go. How you feeling, my man? You looking good? What's the hat you got on today?
Little Savannah Bananas action.
Yes, a little Savannah. How many minor league hats do you have already at this point in your life?
At least 3.
No, get the hell out of here. 300?
300, 3 dozen, 300. I have no idea. I have no clue.
A bunch, right?
Yeah,
a bunch.
It's up there.
The bigger question is,
it's got to be over 100.
How many minor league games have you been to across the country?
Wow. I've been to at least 40, 50 different parks. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Some multiple times. Yeah.
What's your favorite one?
Ooh, favorite minor league park? Wow. This is a good one. Well, my home park is Columbus, Huntington Park in Columbus. That's a really nice park, but I like Toledo. I like Charleston, South Carolina, home of the River Dogs. It's right on the water. It's beautiful. You got the bridge in the background. Charleston's right up there.
Okay, what's the
Bill Murray? Bill Murray, a part owner of that team.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay, he just got kicked off a movie set actually for some ill-advised behavior. Apparently, he was like, "Well, I was saying something that apparently in today's world is not appropriate or something." He didn't really shed light on it.
I'm sure it was horrible.
Yeah. Anyway, what's your favorite action or craziness that happened in a minor league park that you've been to? Because that's usually the thing.
Yeah, they all have that goofy thing going on. They always have
the banana ones do some funky stuff.
The bananas take it to complete extremes because they do it during the games. They've got dancing umpires and they got a third base coach with the airplane light things, right. And you see on the runway, and they got a dancing first base coach. They take it to complete extremes, but it's kind of like that. It's like that in Bull Durham, and they've got the clown prince, and they have all these people that tour with the things, and they're fun because unless you're in a crazy like Savannah, you can't get a ticket to. So if you just showed up in Savannah and they're in home, good luck getting a ticket. But most places they're empty, and you got the place yourself, and you can roam around and talk to people. They're a lot of fun. The Chattanooga, last couple of years ago, I was driving back from Ohio, stopped in Chattanooga, Tennessee. The Lookouts were playing. That was a blast. Had a blast. There's 500 people in the crowd, and I made 300 friends. It was good.
I think I've cheated myself out of not going to minor league parks around the country, man. That's
it's hard. We really don't have it here. I mean, we've got the Florida State League, but it's not the same as it used to be. No. We used to back in the good old days, my friend.
Yes.
Good old days.
Miami Marlins, Fort Lauderdale.
Yes. Yeah. We had all these teams, and now if you want to see minor league ball, you got to go up to Jupiter, and it's just like
I remember going over to Fort Lauderdale to meet Brian Taylor, who was like a
remember him?
Pickup,
the number one pick of the Yankees.
I think
Can't
he blew
miss
out
prospect.
a shoulder. I think he blew out a shoulder like in a bar fight or something.
Something like that. Yeah, he
forgot
never
what it
lived up
was.
to anything. I don't think he got above AA.
No,
and he was supposed to be the guy.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I think I have a baseball somewhere signed by him. Actually,
I have a couple of those baseball cards. If we're going back into the way back time machine here, when the Marlins had their expansion draft in 92, 93, I guess it was 93. The Miami Herald wanted to make a big poster of everybody's baseball cards. So I was the guy put in charge of getting all these baseball cards, and a lot of these guys were,
the Erie Sailors.
Right. But the Herald had me go to a baseball card shop, and I had to buy a Fort Lauderdale Yankee team set just for one player. And they were like, "Yeah, keep the cards." And I'm like, "I got a Brian Taylor rookie card on the Herald dime," and then
and then it didn't work out. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's awesome. All right, so tonight it starts, and
hockey. Yes, let's hockey. Yeah.
Yes, it's hockey. It's hockey. Tonight it starts, but more importantly, what starts is the legacy moment.
Yeah.
For Huberdeau and Barkov, and I would imagine we're getting Ekblad back tonight.
Ekblad's playing tonight. Yeah, and Uyghur too. Throw Uyghur in that mix. I mean,
okay.
These are the homegrown guys, right? These are
right.
You can't blame Sam Bennett, Sam Reinhart for the past sins of this franchise.
No.
But there is a little bit of that on
I don't blame these guys either. I don't blame these guys.
No, I don't either. But they feel it more than those guys do.
Right. And they're the lifetimers. They're the guys that are going to be hanging above the rafters when they retire. We're going to retire those numbers finally. We're going to have players like that. We're going to have guys that maybe even have a shot at the Hall of Fame down the line and everything. So these are the real guys that are establishing the culture that is being set for the Panthers. But none of this means anything without a deep playoff run. And it all starts tonight, dude.
It all starts tonight. Yeah, you got the Washington Capitals, a team that Florida is much, much better than, right? Florida is a heavy favorite in this game, in this series, but it's the playoffs. Washington's been here before. They haven't done anything since they won the Cup. They've been bounced out of the first round pretty quietly the last couple seasons, so they're looking to get back at it. They're playing with house money as far as I'm concerned. Because nobody expects anything out of Washington.
Nope.
And if those guys have a lot of pride. Those guys, again, 4 years ago won the Cup. They don't have any goaltending. That's a problem for them. But you never know what's going to happen in hockey. You never know. They could get a fantastic start from their goalie tonight, and go on a run. And I don't foresee that. I think the Panthers are going to roll tonight, win this thing in 5, and move on. But you never know.
Yeah, it's one of those, but I know that this is the moment for those guys now to start to establish all of that they've built up here right now. The Brunette thing, when he doesn't get the interim tag taken off, this is the moment, right? Because you can't take the interim tag off the coach until he gets you to the playoffs and gets you into a deep run. Because if you get eliminated early and you took that interim tag off him a month ago or 3 months ago, now you find yourself in a really difficult position because you're like, well, wait a minute, now you've named the head coach and this guy failed in the first round. For the head coach, if he's going to be the head coach in the future, he also needs a deep run in order to keep that job, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Because I think what we're looking at here is when Joel Quenneville first left, we said, listen, if it looks like Andrew Burnett's in over his head, Florida's going to go find a veteran guy, right? So he didn't look over his head. He looked fine. Now it starts over. If he looks over his head against a guy like Peter Laviolette, the Washington Capitals coach, who won the Cup with Carolina back in the day. He's been to the finals twice. He's like the most experienced coach in these playoffs. If you get skunked by this guy, that just shows you, okay, he's not ready for prime time.
That's why I think they
So
haven't
we'll
taken
see.
that interim tag off, right?
I think
Because
so too. And
yeah.
listen, I've talked to Bill Zito all the time. Bill's like, listen, we're going to deal with it at the end of the year. Just relax. He knows
Right.
it. We know it. It is relaxed. They're going to be watching this very closely.
Yeah, no, I would imagine that that's the reason why he has that tag on there, because this is, in other words, not to take away anything from him credit-wise, but I'm going to have to take some of it away. It's almost like this team was on cruise control as it is. It's so good. It's so deep. They kept adding more talent with Giroux and company down the stretch that you have to be one of the top seeds, if not the top seed in the conference. But now, like you just said, now that we get to the playoffs and now that you got to prepare your team from game to game and scheme for whatever comes your way, and also a very important goalie decision that you may have to make along the way in these playoffs. I hope not. I hope it's Bob on his freaking head and you ride his ass all the way to the end. That's what I would like to see. But that decision may come also to a head at one point. So there's a lot left for him to kind of prove in this stretch.
Yeah, I mean, there's matchup stuff. Who plays what line? Who comes out? What are you looking at with the long chain? There's a lot of stuff that goes on, especially in the playoffs, because now's where the adjustment makes. You're not playing Washington on Tuesday. You're not playing Washington on Tuesday night and Carolina on Thursday. You're playing Washington. Those players are going to get to know your player. There's going to be adjustments throughout this series. The lines that start tonight probably are not going to be the lines in game 3 or 4 unless they just dominate. And, Florida wins tonight 6-0. Whatever they did tonight, they're going to do Thursday. But there's just going to be so much adjustment going on. How does Andrew Burnett and the Florida Panther coaching staff deal with that?
Ekblad, does he come back and play regular shifts, or is this something that they bring him along slowly? How is this handled?
No, he's your top dog defensively. He's back up with Mackenzie Weegar. He's back. I asked today about the power play opportunity. He's back on power play 1. So they're not easing him back. Maybe maybe instead of playing 22, 23 minutes, he plays 19, 20. But yeah, they're not going to baby him in. He's been working with the team. He's been skating. He feels good. He's gone through the 3 full days of practice. It looks like all systems go for Aaron.
So injury wise, they must feel he's 100%. Then that's what it is.
Yeah, they've been keeping an eye on this for the last couple weeks, right? I mean, he got hurt back in March 17th or 18th, whatever it was. So it's been 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks. So the last couple weeks, they've been really keeping an eye on things. They wouldn't rush him back. I'm telling you, this is game 1.
Yeah.
This is if he wasn't ready.
Yeah, they don't.
They'd say, bro, settle in. We've been winning without you. We can beat Washington without you.
Yeah.
He's got to be 100%, or they wouldn't go. They wouldn't let him go.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's got to be 100%. All right, so goalie, how do you expect them to handle it? It's kind of like my wish is you start Bob and you hope he's hot and you're going to ride him out, right? Because I don't think you want to go back and forth during the playoffs.
No, you sure as heck don't.
Right.
Listen, if Bob gives up 2, 3, 4 goals tonight, but he looks really, really good, and Florida scores 7, sometimes numbers go out the window when you see a guy making key saves at key times, and that's what Bob has been doing lately. Yeah, he's been giving up some goals. Yeah, his numbers don't look great, but when you need a save, he's been making them. That's what they're looking for. If they get beat 4-1 tonight, that's a different story. He's going to have to make some key saves. That's basically the bottom line. And you can tell Bob when he's fighting it and when he's not. They'll be able to tell pretty early what's going on there.
Yeah, you said that many times that you can tell what kind of Bob you're going to get from early on.
Good Bob, bad Bob,
Explain it to the average folk out there what you see.
If he just looks like he's all over the place, if he looks like he's fighting the puck, if he's not being aggressive and coming out and he's retreating, he's really fighting it. I think we saw that the last couple of years. You saw Bob get small, right? You'd see him in the net get down. Like, you're a big guy, man. Get up. You see that this year. Bob changed the way he played the past 2 years this year. It's been really good. So we'll see what happens. I mean, listen, again, just the same thing with the Aaron Ekblad thing. I think Florida could beat him. Again, Florida's going to be able to score some goals in this series. We always talk about, well, in the playoffs, the games are 1-0. Really? Did you see game 1 last night? I mean, there were a lot of goals being scored. The Florida Panthers can put up 7-8 on you. They can.
Oh, yeah.
And they can put up 7 or 8 on this Washington team. Yeah, there's going to be some physicality, but Florida comes at you at waves. They wear people down. You know, I don't think these Washington goalies can handle what Florida's got unless a miracle happens for Washington and these guys absolutely become brick walls out of nowhere, you know.
All right, so what's the key tonight against Washington? They're the better team. We know that.
Yeah.
How does
Florida
you need make life easy for themselves?
I think you have to come out and you need to establish. Washington already knows Florida's the better team. You need to establish that early. You need to remove all doubt. And, you know, even if it's a close, even if it's like 3-2 or something, you've got the lead. You got to feel good about that. I think we saw that last year. Tampa, there was a little seed of doubt in Tampa last year. Florida let them win game 1, and it was a different series. I think if Florida wins game 1 last year against Tampa Bay, they probably win that series because all of a sudden Tampa's like, yeah, this team's had our number pretty much all year. They just beat the crap out of us the previous 2 games in the regular season, which doesn't matter, but it did matter. They lost game 1. They lose game 2. You know, they were chasing it from there. You do not want to be chasing this series. You want to take control. Washington, in their heart of hearts, know the Panthers are much better than they are.
All right, tell them about FloridaHockeyNow.com and why the hell they should be subscribed to keep.
Oh my God! Look at the page today. Nobody's covering the Florida Panthers and I say that. You know, I say that. It's the truth. Nobody covers it, dude. We got 4 stories up right now just from this morning. I did a story on how this team was built. If you remember, Big O, 2 years ago, I was on your show when the Panthers got bounced in Toronto. Yes. They fired Dale Talon. This place is a disaster zone. From that disaster in 2020, this is what you've got now. This team has come from that. I got a big story on that today. We've got the Aaron Ekblad news. We've got Sam Reinhart tonight. Finally, will play in his first NHL playoff game. So come visit us at Florida Hockey Now. We've got another story coming up about how hockey's really taken off down here. That'll be going up around 2:00. So check it out. Nobody covers this team like we do. It's not even close.
It's like $3 a month.
$3 a month. Come on.
Support our local journalists.
Hook a brother up.
Yes, hook a brother up. Let's go. Local papers aren't doing it, but he's doing it. So you see what I'm saying? So let's go. Let's get it done. And follow him on Twitter at George Richards. George, you're a stud, my brother. We'll catch up next week. Enjoy the Okie.
All right, Orlando. Thank you, buddy.
You got it. There you go. George Richards and our lockdown segment.
This has been the Florida Panthers Lockdown segment, brought to you by A. Lenny Locksmith Services. Count on them 24 hours a day. Call 855-869-5625 or go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Definitely. And there you go, a little Caneswear. Remember, over $99, free shipping. 2511 South University Drive in Davie. When business and sports collide, one thing happens. It's called the KSDT Sports Business Report. All righty, we're back. And, you know, I always love picking up some of these stories, some of these sports stories that have a little bit of a business twist. And it's like a little fun fact that you wouldn't know. And talking about the Panthers, tonight they're in action against the Capitals. And one of the things that I've talked about with the Panthers is, you know, that entire deck that's out there outside the arena. I say, because the Panthers, you know, if I'm correct, they're going to have a long run to the playoffs, hopefully this year, maybe even win the cup, I hope. And then that's going to really start the ball rolling. And I think this town now, what has happened in Tampa Bay will happen here now. And I think people will start getting on the hockey bandwagon like they did in the mid-90s. And I think the hockey craze is really going to pick up, you know, down the line. And so, listen to this. The Milwaukee Bucks, who, by the way, have their Deer Park, right? in their quest to repeat as NBA champions this weekend, will begin playing the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. Off the court, the team is seeking $4 million annually for the entitlement rights to its plaza inside the Deer District, a 30-acre property that sits outside the arena. In an interview with CNBC, Bucks president Peter Feigin described the naming rights asset as obtaining keys to a city that we've created within the state of Wisconsin. The Deer District is part of the team's economic development plan, to which taxpayers contributed $250 million. And the project also landed the Bucks their over $500 million arena, which opened in 2018. Now, the ownership includes high-profile investors, whatever. The consortium purchased a price for $550 million in 2014. It's now worth $1.9 billion, up slightly from $1.6 in 2020. So the Bucks are counting on the Deer District to help deliver more revenue outside of the NBA. How about that? So the plaza that they have out there where everybody, they're going to name that. Panthers, let's go. It is time to build up that outside plaza, because I know we're going to get to the point where that arena is going to start getting sold out all the time. The Panthers are the best team in town. I know that we're more of a basketball town than a hockey town, obviously. So we love the Heat and we love what they've done, and they're the best organization in town by miles. But the best team is actually the Florida Panthers. Okay? Now, they both have a shot at winning the title. I'm not going to discount the Heat's chances here. They're deep enough and good enough that if they stay healthy, they got a shot at the title too. But the Panthers, ladies and gentlemen, they are the best team in the league. And we are the best at getting on the bandwagon in this town. I watched it even in the 90s when hockey was just brand new in this town, and this place went crazy for hockey. By the way, Dornow Oscar, thank you for the super chat. I did not mention it earlier. And then another one came in, Mike No-Go Zones. Thank you, sir. Hello, everyone watching the show from Kurdistan, Iraq. Wow. Or Kurdistan. Is that what it is? Kurdistan, Iraq. It is 7 hours later here, so I'm getting ready for dinner. Cheers, everyone. There you go. Cheers, Mike. And be safe out there in Iraq, my man. Wow. You are cojones this size, Mike. Okay, you definitely go to the no-go zones. And if you haven't subscribed to Mike No-Go Zones YouTube page, what are you waiting for? It's Mike No-Go Zones. Go check it out on YouTube. He does all kinds of documentaries, and he goes to places that you would probably never go to. Here in the States or parts of the world. Okay, that's why it's called Mike No-Go Zones. Places that most people would not go to. And he kind of goes to places you wouldn't, and he shows you why it's not as bad as you think it is. So check it out. Mike says Baltimore is scarier than Iraq. Cody says, Big O, you're feeding my Dolphins addiction, and I can't thank you enough. I start the DTs without daily Dolphin talk, so thank you for putting out all the content you do. You are welcome, sir. We try, my brother. We try our best. We try to cover all of our local teams here. I've been to Hickory, North Carolina, the Crawdads, Birmingham Barons, fun stuff, minor league baseball. I agree. I just I would like to treat myself to some of that stuff. I never have. Let's see. If they would consider Jordan Love, why not go Wirfs at 5 and Ruiz at 18? They weren't considering Jordan Love, dude, at 5. Okay? And I'm happy with Tua. You may not be, but I'm happy with Tua. They weren't considering Jordan Love ever. Just because Flo wanted him doesn't mean they considered it. The other guys knew that Flo was full of shit. Mocha Luiao. Aloha, Big O. Aloha to all my Hawaiian friends out there. We got a bunch of Hawaiian friends listening out there. Thank you. Thank you for supporting us out there. Appreciate you all. Very important. All right, what else do we have here? Did I do the close? That was our KSDT Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Hey, by the way, you see Adrian Peterson? He has agreed to domestic violence counseling after allegedly assaulting his wife on a plane. She's staying with him? That would not be my suggestion, but that's just me. I think once the woman or the man raises their hand and starts hitting the other, that's when the relationship ended. Because I don't believe you're going to gain the respect back after that, but that's just me. It would never cross my mind to hit my wife. Are you freaking crazy? That doesn't, no, that's not acceptable on any standard. And AP also was the same guy that whipped his kid with a switch, like a 9-year-old or an 8-year-old or whatever it was, 10-year-old, something ridiculous. A kid that should not be hit with a switch. You know what I'm saying? This guy's got problems. This guy's got problems. I'll tell you what, I certainly don't view him the same way I have in the past. I'm not the guy that gives you a pass just because you can score 30 points or you were a great quarterback or running back or hockey player or basketball player or anything like that. There's a guy that in his history, beating kids and women, yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. I saw that story and wow. Anyway. So, Sean Stanley, did you hear about Shailene Woodley and Aaron Rodgers? You heard about them breaking up? We didn't hear him. We just saw like a circle that came out, hidden behind Welton Rayom, personal injury, criminal defense, you know, the great people at Welton Rayom. But as you all know, they broke up, right? Apparently she was saying that it was all about him and he was selfish and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so Aaron's had his problems with relationships. Well, Shailene Woodley, fresh off the breakup from Aaron Rodgers, was actually out on the streets, out on the prowl. And she was actually caught making out. Yeah, she was. But apparently Shailene Woodley, this past weekend, was spotted on a date with actress Cara Delevingne, or something like that. The two were at a apparent date, and at some point, Shailene and Cara were allegedly seen making out. Now, Shailene, of course, is flexible. AM, FM, 8-track cassette. She says, I fall in love with human beings based on who they are, not based on what they do or what sex they are, she explained. So Aaron Rodgers has got to feel pretty good that she left him to go play for the home team. Just saying. So it's a different world nowadays, ladies and gentlemen. It's a different world. Aaron Rodgers can't get along with anybody. And he even makes women go the other way. It's impressive. Sebastian Alvarez says, I don't think Flo was trying to sabotage Tua by starting him against the Rams. If you remember that year, we had our bye week set before the Jets game. but because of COVID, they moved it. Yeah, but you don't start it. You don't start them against the Rams, dude. You don't start a rookie quarterback with a line that can't block and can't run the ball against the Rams. Oh, and by the way, you were winning, I think. If I remember correctly, weren't they winning that year? I want to say that they were winning. They were in a winning streak at that moment. Didn't make any sense. Anything that Flo did never made sense. The plan was always to get them ready for the bye week, and COVID changed the plans unexpectedly. So then you change the plans. That's what you do. You don't play them against the Rams, man. Yeah, especially when you know your team can't block and run the ball. God. Yeah, let's play Aaron Donald and Michael Brockers with a line that can't block. Yeah, it's crazy, man. All right, we're out of here. We've done a lot today, 4.5 hours. Sean Stanley is always mastering it. Appreciate Sean. He's probably short on sleep too because he got in early in the morning from last night. He flew over, and appreciate him as always. We thank all of you out there. We thank Ian Rappaport, Manny Navarro, Cameron Wolf, Anthony Chang, Omar Kelly, George Richards. Absolutely loaded. Probably have more talk tomorrow, less guests tomorrow. We'll get into all of that and got plenty of things to talk about. Again, I appreciate all of you out there, as always, for keeping it locked here and supporting us on the program. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com. 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal